Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today I'm answering your YouTube questions. So here's what's going on. So for those of you that are hanging out here, like while this thing is getting started, there's a form down in the description right now. And if you put your question in there, really good chance it's going to get answered on the stream today, because I don't have a lot of questions in there right now. I cleared the form just a little bit ago. So if you do have a question, make sure that you get it in the form down there today. I'm super pumped up to be hanging out today. I didn't stream last Saturday, just took some personal time. Nothing really, wrong or anything like that. Just wanted to take some personal time and, just enjoy a Saturday evening, doing something else. So I did that. And now though, I'm super pumped up to be back and, answering your YouTube questions. And my goal today, if this is your first live stream that you are participating in, my goal today is to teach you something about YouTube. So throughout the course of this live stream, basically how this whole thing works out is I answer the questions as they come in. So we start with the form that's down in the description right now. And then of course I will pull them out of the chat, later in the stream. Maybe I'll just randomly pull, questions out, when I see them, if something really, stands out or something like that. But for the most part, as we're getting started, you need to get your question in that form that is down in the description below so that we can get it answered on the stream today. I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery on the platform, help you manage your channel and optimize your channel in a bunch of ways. They even help you test your thumbnails to make sure that the thumbnails that you are using are the right thumbnails for the people that you are trying to reach. They give you all kinds of information based on how people are responding to each thumbnail that you test. So really valuable tool. You can try it free at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. And then if you decide to upgrade from there, then of course I would also get a commission, which is a big win. So thank you for that. In addition to that, I do want to let you know that this stream is co-brought to you by or co-sponsored by StreamYard. StreamYard is what I use to live stream this every single Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the reason that I use it is because it does all the stuff for me in the cloud, right? So like if I lose the stream, something goes down, if I have a problem with my electric or my internet or anything goes on with my computer and my system crashes, StreamYard holds the stream open for me. In addition to that, it's really easy to bring in guests. And I do want to let you know as well, if you're a StreamYard user, they are also getting ready to release Stream Deck support. So I'm using a version of it right now that has Stream Deck support attached to it. So if I do any screen shares or anything like that, I'll be able to actually just tap right here on my Stream Deck and I can actually move, things around on screen and all of that, or just switch scenes just directly from my Stream Deck, which for StreamYard users, if you're already a StreamYard user, that's a big deal because we've been waiting for that for a really, really long time. So super excited for that. But anyway, you can try StreamYard for yourself at StreamYard.com. It's the easiest live streaming tool that you'll ever use. So make sure that you give it a shot if you are a live streamer. So really quick, before we get into the actual content today, I do want to say what's up to Albitastic. Hope that you're doing fantastic today. Lowe's Place is out there driving right now. So they're just listening to the live stream while they're out driving around. So, stay safe out there. Keep your eyes on the road. And, I hope you enjoy the show today and you learn some, some stuff about YouTube. Apple Tree Comics, what's up? Nice to see you in here. Pie in the Sky Tours, hope that you are doing fantastic. Hybrid Steel, what's up, man? Hope that you are doing great. Joe McFlow saying yes for Stream Deck support. That's what I'm talking about. Sheila Loves, nice to see you in here. So basically, if you are just joining the stream, what we're doing today is we're talking about YouTube. Everybody that's hanging out in this chat right now, everybody that's going to be showing up here later, everybody's a YouTube content creator. And the whole reason that we do this every single Saturday is one, so you can network. This is not like a subscribe for subscribe type of thing. If we do, we don't let that happen in the stream. So you get, banned for that sort of thing. But, if you do see somebody making content like yours, there's been a lot of friendships made from this live stream. There's been a lot of collaborations that have come out of this live stream and things like that from people just, hanging out in the chat and talking to each other. So, these are other content creators that are, into the, YouTube thing, just like you are. So feel free to, get to know some of the other people that you see that are hanging out in the chat and as we get into the conversation today. So really quick, as we start getting this party started, getting a little bit warmed up, Brad, Magic Flying Potato, hope you're doing awesome, my man. Little Crafty Nook, what's going on? Chicole's World, what is up? So DIY Audio Guy
Superchat.
Says, hey, Nick, I've added 21,000 subscribers in the last 12 months by following your advice. Not bad for a part-time side hustle. Just want to say thank you, DIY audio guy. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work on, applying the stuff. If you're somebody that hangs out in these live streams on a regular basis and you're getting the information, a ton, especially if you've been hanging out here for a long time. Like if you listen to these live streams from the time they start to the time that they finish, just in that period of time, you're going to learn a ton of stuff. And the real magic happens when you actually take that stuff that you hear and you learn and you start applying it to what it is that you're doing on YouTube. So it's awesome to hear, DIY audio guy, that you're applying the stuff and that you're putting in the effort and that you're enjoying your side hustle. And most importantly, that you're getting those results from your side hustle and you're having a good time with it. So again, high five and fist bump to you for that. And Original Ryan says 5 months. Nice. Hope that you're doing well, Nick. Thank you for the entire Nimminati. Thank you and the entire Nimminati for all the help. My pleasure. And, thank you for being a 5-month channel member. And let's see here. Next up on our list, we have Zach Talks Pexel. Oh, hey, nice. Pixel. Nice. Says new channel that is very targeted. Absolutely it is. Says, I think I'm off to a good start. Thanks to all your help on the past. Cheers. Awesome, man. So I didn't know that you were starting a new channel. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out after the live stream. You are doing Pixel. So you're basically, it's just all about like the Pixel phone, I'm guessing is what it is that you're doing. That's pretty awesome, man. So nice to see you embarking on a new adventure. That's always cool. All right, so let's go ahead and get into. Let's go ahead and just knock some stuff around the desk real quick. But then let's go ahead and start getting into the questions today, so that we can go ahead and start learning some stuff about YouTube. So let me get this little flashy thing off of the screen here really quick. And for those of you that are just joining the stream, TubeBuddy is a sponsor of this stream. You can try that at tubebuddy.com/Nimmin. So StreamYard, you can try it at StreamYard.com. Both of those are linked down in the description below this stream right now. All right, so here we go. Let's go. So very first question coming from Delusional Bob. One of my favorite channel names on YouTube. Absolutely love that channel name. Just kind of paints a picture, so love the channel name. Says they do gaming content and the goal of the channel is to entertain people and make them laugh and also create very needed income streams. The question, how would you lay out a video as a guide to go by to keep people watching your videos? Like, for example, what would you put at the beginning, middle, end of the video? Thank you for everything you do for small content creators. You've taught me so much with your videos. Love your channel. Thank you for the kind words, Delusional Bob. I appreciate it. So when it comes to the structure of your YouTube videos, a really important thing that we have to learn as content creators is we have to learn how our audience, the people that are interacting with what it is that we are doing on our channels, we have to learn how those people respond to the different decisions that we make in our content. And the reason that we have to do that is because, the people that are hanging out in the stream right now, they're going to respond differently to my content than they will your content. If they were to watch Magic Flying Potatoes videos, they're going to respond differently to, his videos than they would to my videos or your videos. So the idea is to use the data that YouTube gives us in our audience retention reports and use that as your guide on what your audience enjoys and doesn't enjoy, in terms of how it is that you're putting your content together. Now, the thing that you want to do, or the approach that you want to take with that, is you want to make sure that you're doing a lot of experimentation. You always want to be experimenting on your YouTube channel. Like, you never want to settle in and get comfortable. You always want to be experimenting. And some of those experiments are, if we're talking about the structure, when your video first starts, hey, Paul Peck Drywall Tube, what's up, dude? Hope you're doing awesome. But like when your video first starts, for example, right? It's really important to make sure that when your video first starts, that you're experimenting with, okay, when my video first starts, I'm going to tell the people exactly what it is we're going to be doing in the video, and I'm going to see how they respond to that. Next video, I'm going to try, showing some B-roll with my voice, playing in the background, where I'm doing a little bit of a voiceover explaining what it is that we're going to be talking in the video. Experiment with that, see how they respond to that. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to just have, some B-roll playing and a little bit of music and see how people respond to that. The next thing that I'm going to try is I'm going to try, when the video starts, just jumping right into the content without saying, hey, this is what we're going to be doing in the video. But you just keep going through these experiments in the different parts of your videos in order to figure out what the people that are coming into your content, based on, where it is that they are coming from in the world, based on their age range and the, that kind of thing. You figure out what it is that causes those people to pay attention to what it is that you're doing for longer periods of time. But let's just go into theoreticals here. And if you look at it from a structure standpoint, the basic idea is when the video first starts, you want to grab their attention in some way, right? So grabbing their attention in some way could just mean that you say, hey, this is what we're doing in the video. It could mean that you start out with a story. Like, yeah, we just ran into this problem. We're getting ready to go do this. This is the thing, this is the journey that we're going to be taking you on in this video. Let's go. To where you kind of build up a little bit of a story first as a means to kind of get people committed to your particular video or mentally or emotionally invested in that particular piece of content as well, so that they'll want to watch that video for a longer period of time to see how the whole thing plays out. But in your specific case, though, since you're doing gaming content, when you are first starting your videos, I would definitely go through the experimentation that I was talking about. But a few things that you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to is, when you watch a lot of gaming content, especially people that will do like Let's Plays, or they will record everything while they're playing, and then they'll just kind of halfway edit it together. One of the things that I'll see with them is that they will, have like loading screens, and they'll have, when they're sitting there selecting the characters and things like that. And it's just wasting tons of time. Like when you are promising something from the outside saying that, hey, this is, the thing that I'm showing you in this video, or this is the adventure that we're going on in this game, or whatever the thing is. When people come into that, try just starting it with, skip through all of that stuff and actually just start it as the game itself starts. And as you're playing, as they're coming into the video, right? Just imagine the experience that the viewer's having when they're coming into your video, and think to yourself, okay, they click on my thumbnail, my title, they come into my video starts. At that moment in time, like, how can I be taking them on that journey already? So then, right after that loading screen goes and the game starts, that is where you would say, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish in the game, or this is the handicap that we're giving ourselves to see if we can accomplish, if we can win this level, or, win this battle royale with one weapon or tool, or whatever the thing is. So, the idea is just to, keep experimenting through that. But other things that you want to think about as well is there's also a concept called open loops. And open loops is used in Hollywood. It's used in storytelling, just in general. But the idea with open loops is to where, as you're going through the content, if you know what it is that's going to be coming up, and I know and I understand that in some gaming content, might not necessarily know, and you're just kind of playing along and things just happen as they happen. But if you do have a structure that you are taking people through in the game, the idea with open loops is to where you introduce ideas of things that you're going to be doing later that would also cause someone to want to commit to the video. So for example, if you're playing a game, and as you're playing that particular game, you're saying to yourself, or not saying to yourself, but you're saying to the viewer, you're like, okay, this is what we're going through right now. But as soon as I'm done with this, we're going to head over to this area over here, and I'm going to do this thing next. And I have some really cool stuff to show you over there. Then what you just did is you just kind of teased, or opened a loop. You just kind of teased what's going to be coming up later in the video, which then gives somebody a reason to want to stick around, because then you're like, hey, I'm doing this thing that you're enjoying right now, but here in just a minute, I'm going to be showing you this other thing that you're probably going to enjoy as well, right? So you just tease content out that way. And then as you get to the next piece of, as you get to the opportunity to close that loop, then what you want to do from there is you want to say, okay, this loop's closed, right? Make that middle note, and then say, okay, is there another loop that I can open? Is there another, thing that I can tease that's going to be happening, even further along in the video? And you just kind of rinse and repeat that process as you go through your content. So, when you're making gaming videos, you want to keep those types of things in mind. Now, in addition to that, you also want to make sure that you're closing out your videos quickly. A lot of content creators at scale do this, to where, like, as the video is coming to an end, they're like, hey, and that's, how you beat this particular game, or that's how you do it, with this handicap, or that's how you whatever. And they start using all this finalizing language, and that finalizing language tells the people that are interacting with that content, hey, the thing that I came in here for, it's over. This video's finished. So therefore, before they have an option to start clicking on your end screens to go watch more of your content because they loved it, before they do that, they've left the video already, right? They got distracted by something in the sidebar or underneath the video, whatever, but they ended up leaving because you started using all that finalizing language. So for whatever type of content you make, I really recommend that as soon as you're done giving the viewer what it is that they came in there for, drop your end screen on them and do any of the finalizing language stuff there while that end screen is up. You've got 10 to 20 seconds that you can do it within, and do it during that time so that the people that are watching your content have the opportunity to click on one of your videos instead of just abandoning, your videos and channel all the way around. So really quick here, we had some members come in here. Let me refresh this page here. Yeah, we had some super chats I want to make sure that I got, and I want to make sure that awesome work. Nick says Big Rig Gaming.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it, and thank you for the kind words there. Let's see here. So Zach Talks Pixel.
Welcome to the Nimmin.
Welcome to the Nimmin. Make sure that you are in our VIP group. So just as a heads up, if you are a channel member, let me pull this up on screen real quick. If you are a channel member and you have not joined yet, make sure you go to nimminvip.com right here. It's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in because that's how I verify that you're a member. We have some awesome stuff going on over there. So make sure that you go through that process. Let's see here. So next up, we also have Beauty Beatdown.
Welcome
and Big Rig Gaming
to the Nimmin.
Yeah, so for Beauty Beatdown, make sure you go to Nimmin VIP because that's our members only Facebook group. Oh, look at that! The starred thing worked. Hey, it worked, Doug. All right, this is what I'm talking about. Okay. So really quick here, we've got some questions here. We've got just some information that's coming in here, and I want to make sure that I get these taken care of as well. So SCB Wellbeing, Sour Cream Boy Wellbeing says, when someone sees your thumbnail and it starts silently auto playing, is there a strategy for that when there's no audio before they click? So as of right now, nobody like there's not like a, hey, if you put this particular thing at this, second mark or minute mark or anything like that in your videos, that it's going to show in that autoplay. YouTube system decides what to show there. So that's not up to us, unfortunately. And then we have the next question here is from Jay-Z Help says, can you discuss how to record using two devices, one for 16:9 and one for 9:16 at the same time? Do I need two mics, two boom stands? I use Video Mic Pro NTG. So technically, you could probably get away. Here, I'll answer this one right here in a second for you, Eric. But basically, you could probably get away with, just having, like technically two cameras, but one mic to where you split the signal just using a splitter to where you split the signal going from the one microphone into the two different devices. But the problem comes from this, man, is when you're recording the two different videos, like if you're going to be looking at the camera, you can't necessarily look at two cameras at the same time. You can get it close where you could put them, right next to each other. So you have your, horizontal view, and then you have the vertical view, like a camera right next to that one. You can definitely do that. But it's just a little bit, weird, and it will be clear that you're looking at one or the others, when it comes to camera. But one of the things that you can do is there's different software out there. I think Rush does it. I think Premiere does it to where they have it built in to where you can say, hey, I want to track this vertically from this horizontal video. And then you can basically just kind of repurpose content out of that horizontal video or make content horizontally, but then have the software itself crop it down. But Premiere does that. So it's definitely something that I would look into in that situation. Okay. So can't start members. Okay. Got it. Okay. So I'm going to open that window back up then, since this is a good to go thing, and go ahead and get that over here, and we will get that there so I can see this. All right. So we're testing some stuff here on the back end. So if you're like, what is he talking about? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? Yeah, like we're testing something here in the background. So that's what's going on right now. But Eric Waite says, what about thanking Patreons at the end? Make sure you have end screens up before you do that. So if you're going to thank your Patreons at the end of your video, that's cool. And some people have that as a perk to where they'll have like a listing of Patreons or something like that. If you're going to do that, I just recommend that you have something that people can click on for the people that don't care about that message to your Patreons. Like your Patreons, or the people that are not your Patreons, are probably not going to care about that message. So because of that, those are the people that you're going to need to be clicking on those end screens versus, just losing those people completely by having a period of time to where you're thanking your Patreons there at the end. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got. Chantel, what's up? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Hope you're doing great. Hope that you're doing awesome. So, hey, here's the thing. So if you need, there's a guy, I found him on Reddit. He's awesome. So he did mine. If you like my member emojis, like he did the milestones, the little play buttons next to the names for the members. He did those. I can shoot you, his information or whatever. His name's Johnery is his thing, but I can connect you with him if you're looking for somebody to do those. Let me see here. Let me take this down and let me scroll down here. Okay. So next up really quick here, we have Sheila Loves, and we're going to get into the questions here. More questions in just a second.
To the Nimminati.
So Sheila Loves, welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to nimminvip.com. That will redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, because that is how I verify that you are a member on the way in. So, okay. So as we keep on trucking here, we have, I'm going to jump into the questions. Let's go ahead and get these questions moving here. So this one's coming from the forum. This is the second question now out of the forum. And if you're just joining the stream, just as a heads up, we are answering your YouTube questions. So I'm going to be pulling some out of the chat. We're also pulling them out of the forum that is down in the description below. That's what's going on right now. And I want to let you know that, my goal here is to, hopefully that if you're hanging out in the stream, by the end of the stream, you're going to walk away knowing a little bit more, or hopefully a lot more about YouTube. So that's what's going on right now. So let's see here. This is from Steven Level Mindset. Steven Level Mindset says they do music, entertainment, inspiration, and motivation. The goal of the channel is to eventually become a full-time YouTuber. And the question, why do I not have the option to add a trailer to my upcoming live streams? I don't see the add option in my back office. So if you don't see that yet in your creator studio, just hang tight. I don't know if it is subscriber based. I thought everybody had it. That was my understanding. So make sure that you have verified your channel and all of that stuff in terms of connecting with your phone. Make sure your two-factor authentication is turned on. Make sure all of those things are in place so that you can, make sure that you're giving yourself that opportunity to get those features turned on if you qualify for those features right now. Smoking Joe's Barbecue. What's up, man? Hope you're doing great. So I put you in a video. I finally answered. So you left a question at you had I think it was 50,000 subscribers on your channel. You ask a question, and then by the time I got around to actually putting that question in a video, you've got 80-something thousand subscribers on your channel now. So nice work to you, but I just wanted to give you the heads up that I mentioned that video. You can find that video if you just go to your mentions, because I mentioned you in the description for that. So Exposed ADTRE says, as a stoner channel, should I focus more on sponsorships over subs and views? Well, you still want views because you still want to get your content in front of people, right? So you definitely want that. And if you are going to be working with, brands or sponsors in any capacity, they're also going to want views. So because of that, I would definitely focus on views, but I would definitely try to cultivate those relationships as well, so that either as the views are coming in, or so they can go ahead and get those placements in. So as your channel grows, that they're getting that exposure as well. So either, start those relationships now, and then as your channel grows, then they'll get that exposure as your channel grows, or start working on those relationships now, so that as your channel gets to a point where they're like, yeah, we definitely want to work with this guy, with this person, then in that particular case, you're well positioned for it. But always, views is always the thing, because, if you got to be getting in front of some people, right, in order for the sponsor or potential sponsor to look at what it is that you're doing and say yeah, this is going to be a good fit for what it is that we're doing. So just make sure that you are getting, at least a consistent amount of views. It doesn't have to be a ton of views. You just need to be getting a consistent amount of views in front of the audience that's a great fit for the people that you're wanting to work with in the future, or in the immediate, if you're trying to create those opportunities now. Let's see here. As we keep on going through our list here, we have Penny Morgan says, I'll take views all day. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Do you have any tips for somebody who's using YouTube Shorts as their main mode for content? Make great shorts. Make great shorts. Try to get people watching on a loop. If you can get people watching on a loop, then that shows great signals to YouTube, because people just keep watching it. So a big trick that people do, not a trick, just a strategy that people use on YouTube, they use on TikTok, because all of these different outlets, they all want watch time, right? They all want people engaged in their stuff for as long as humanly possible. So because of that, every single time that you can cause somebody to start a video, make it all the way to the end, and then start that video again, that's going to be working in your favor. So as part of the content that you're putting out, if you can do that, then that's a big win. In addition to that, if you are growing your channel based on shorts, I would definitely make sure that you are targeting, a very specific niche with it. And just as a heads up, anything can do okay in shorts in terms of a decent amount of views, but the stuff that seems to really be blowing up is entertainment, DIY stuff, things like that, that has a more general broad reach. So just keep that in mind as well. Dan Courier, Creator Fund Fundamentals in the house. What's up, my man? I hope that you are doing fantastic today. Nice to see you. Nice to see you here in the chat. Hope that you are doing fantastic. Good morning to you, my man. So next up on our list here, we've got, hey, and really quick, on the music, entertainment, inspiration, motivational channel, where you said, you know, your goal is to eventually become a full-time YouTuber. Just a heads up for anybody here. And I mention this in every stream because it's really important for everybody to know this, because I know that right now, which is the way that, you know, the job market is and things like that. I know a lot of people are looking at YouTube as a possible, or the way that they're going to, you know, start generating, you know, additional income or at least side money or something like that. And there's a lot of people that also want to go full time. So one thing that I do want a quick tip that I want to share with you, like right now, is that it doesn't matter if you're starting your channel today or if you've been on YouTube already for 5 years. You need to make sure that you are thinking about monetization right now. So if you started your channel today, go ahead and start thinking, okay, what are all the different ways that I can monetize this? Can I, you know, is crowdfunding appropriate for what it is that I'm doing? Is affiliate marketing appropriate for what it is that I'm doing? Is creating my own products appropriate for what it is that I'm doing? Is sponsorships appropriate for what it is that I'm doing? Is creating physical products appropriate for what it is that I'm doing? Is offering services something that is appropriate for the type of content that I'm making? Is there anything that I can make for the type of content that I make that I can provide for sale? And the thing is you want to find as many things as you can possibly do. For example, merch, right? That's an easy one that a lot of people start with. In most cases, merch isn't something that people just, you know, like all of a sudden it's like raining money. However, it is one of those things that adds up, you know, over time and that can bring in, you know, a decent amount of revenue over the course of the year. So because of that, you know, you can go to like spreadshop.com, for example. You can create a merch store for free and you can go ahead and just start offering that stuff with every video that you publish. And the reason I'm telling you to do this now, if you're a new content creator, is because if you are one of the people that are like, hey, I want to do this full time. And because I know not everybody wants to do YouTube full time. People are like, you know, some people are like, hey, I don't want to live and die by an algorithm, right? Like some people just don't want to do that. But for those of you that do, like, you need to go ahead and get those monetization opportunities in place now, because you don't know if the next video that you publish is going to be the one that I'm not going to say put you on the map, because that's kind of like a condescending thing to say, but like, you don't know if that next video is going to be the one that blows up. Right. So if it does, you want to make sure that there's something attached to that video that you can monetize outside of ads, because, you know, you can monetize through ads as well. But in addition to that, you know, you are also, hey, what's up, Kent? Hope you're doing awesome, man. But in addition to that, you know, you want to make sure that you are finding ways to monetize, because what happens if you're not is when you are publishing content, then you're creating this army of content that's not really working for you at the level that it could be to help you achieve your goals of becoming a full-time YouTube content creator. So just make sure that you're putting that stuff in place now. But if you're, you know, if you're just like, hey, I'm just trying to do this as like a side thing, whatever, then you can be a little bit more lax about it. But if you're somebody that's like, hey, this is something that I'm like wanting to take serious and I'm wanting to generate an income from, then go ahead and start getting those things in place now, because every video matters. Okay, so next up here on our list, we have, let's see here. We've got Marcus Zapala checking in with communication tips is the type of channel. The goal of the channel is multiple income streams. The question says, good evening, Nick. I have a question about potentially renaming my channel. Currently, it's my real name, Marcus Zapala, which I thought would be good when building a personal brand. However, my name has these Scandinavian characters that are unfamiliar to most people. The brand that I use and social media website is Marcus Presents, because it's presentation communication tips. So I'm thinking of changing the channel name from Marcus Zapala to Marcus Presents. What are some things that I should consider? I think that that's a great approach, because I agree with the name, just as an English speaker as well. Like the, you know, characters and how you actually say the name is like a little bit off on my end as well. Like, I don't even know if I'm saying the name right. I just kind of take a stab at it. But when it comes to the name and making it easy to understand and making the name have something to do with what it is that you talk about, that's always a win. So some things to think about when it comes to naming your YouTube channel, deciding if you're going to go with your name or if you're going to go with like a brand name, is if you go with your name, then of course you can go in any direction with your channel at any time. You know, you're building your personal brand, which is worth, you know, a lot, you know, once you build it. If you go with a brand name, then in that case, you're putting yourself in a position to really scale things out. So you'll be known as that person that's attached to the brand or that runs that brand. But on the opportunity side there, once you get things moving, you get some money coming in, everything's not based on you. So like in a great example of this, if you look at my channel, right? It's based on my name. So because of that, if I just randomly started having a bunch of other people come on here and just putting content on the channel, even though I could do that, it just wouldn't make a lot of sense because those people aren't me, right? It's not the channel name. So if I was going to do that, I would change the channel name to something that would make it to where it was more of a brand name. Now, another version of this is if you look at what Sean over at Think Media is doing. So since his channel name is Think Media, he can have different people uploading content there, different people contributing to what it is that he's doing. And it's perfectly fine because they're representing the brand, right? So it's not necessarily like that person anymore. It's like the brand. So, multiple people can be behind that brand. Multiple people can contribute to that brand. So just from a scale perspective, Sean, if he wants to, he can walk away from that as a content creator and he can just have his team making content and he can be doing the strategy stuff and all of that while everybody else is actually, putting the content together and getting it up onto YouTube and being kind of like the face of it. So, it just depends on what it is that you're trying to do with your channel long term. And I would definitely consider those types of things when you are, deciding on what it is that you're going to do with your channel name, or if you're going to be changing your channel name in any way. So let's hear. Will Star says, my newest Bigfoot videos got over 10,000 views and I've gained over 300 subs in 2 days. Whoosh, whoosh, high five and fist bump to you. Nice work. Says, thanks to advice I got from Nick and Doug also. Thanks. Yeah, Doug is the man too. So, a lot of people see Doug behind the scenes, right? And, they'll hang out on his channel and stuff like that and live streams and watch some of his videos. But, a lot of you don't know that Doug really knows his stuff when it comes to YouTube, like really, really knows his stuff when it comes to YouTube. Let's see here. So what can I change? Says, yeah, I understand focusing on views, but I get hit with 18 plus as a stoner channel. I get limited exposure. I try to fight that with sponsorships. Yeah, that totally works. So in that case, like do what you can on the view side. And also think, like when you're publishing each video itself based on the content of that video can end up in restricted mode. But you can also put out content that maybe isn't as specific to, because it's a stoner channel. So, thinking of it from the perspective of like, yeah, this is what we're talking about, but maybe we can frame it in another way to where it can kind of help me not end up in restricted mode for a few videos a month so that I can, tap into a broader audience to help me grow the channel and get more views on certain pieces of content. That's definitely an approach that I would try to consider and try to maneuver through as well. Chantel Hill, thank you for the super chat. Says, love what you do and how much you help others. Do you happen to know if Rode Connect app can be used as an audio input in StreamYard? Rode Connect app. I'm not sure. I wish I knew the question to that. I've never used the Rode Connect app. I'm not even sure what the Rode Connect app is. I'm actually going to star this because I want to look after the stream if I can find it here. I want to star this so that I can see it after the stream, so I can actually figure out what the Rode Connect app is. If I can find it, but it doesn't look like I can find it. So I'm sitting here like scrolling through all these and it's like, no. But it looks like the chat had stopped here on this thing that I'm using here too. Okay, there we go. I might be able to find it here. So I'll keep looking for that. Boom, there it is. Okay, so I've got that one marked, and I'll look into that app after the stream. But I've never heard of that Rode Connect app, so I'm not sure. Cook Burger, this is a Shure SM7B, but I use different stuff. So this is a Shure SM7B over there for my music stuff. I have I think it's like an AKG, no, Audio Techna, 50 something. I've got a bunch of different Rode mics, and all that. So I use a lot of different mics, but this particular one, this is a Shure SM7B is what this one is. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, so we got Marcus taken care of. And if you're just joining the stream, what we're doing right now is I'm answering YouTube questions. So if you're a YouTube content creator, this is the place for you. My goal by the end of the stream is that hopefully everybody that passes through here or everybody that hangs out here, by the time the stream's over, they'll be a lot more informed about YouTube. They'll know, more about YouTube and the approaches that they should take to, making their content more visible on the platform, growing their audience, and maybe even generating revenue depending on, the way the conversation goes. But if you are just joining us, I do want to let you know there's a form down in the description below where you can put your questions. It's all free. In addition to that, I'll be pulling questions out of the chat as well. Of course, when people super chat, it goes to the front of the queue just because I'd be a jerk if I didn't do that. But super chats are not in any way required. It's just some people do that so that their chat can go, to the top of the queue. Once I'm going to be pulling the questions out of the chat, then I'll mention to put a Q in front of your question so I can identify that it's for me instead of it being a side conversation in the chat. So once I'm ready for that, then I'll let you know. But for right now, we're pulling them out of the form. So Mount Clyde says they do music content, and the goal of the channel is to make everyone enjoy new taste of music. That's cool. And the question says, hey, Nick, with new Google sign-in protocol and with my current traveling lifestyle, how am I going to be able to sign back into my YouTube account? Knowing it was registered in another country with a different country code from the country I'll be later on, what am I supposed to do to be able to sign back in with different SIM numbers every few weeks, months, despite my new country location? Yeah, so I know what you mean there. So one thing that is happening is when you do sign up with that two-factor notification, at least I know that it does this on an iPhone. I'm not sure if you're an Android user, but on an iPhone, it actually connects to your devices. So because of that, it should connect to your device itself, so that even if you change your SIM card, because your Google account is still connected to your phone as well. So because of that, then they still, have you go into your Gmail account and then read the code and then say what that code is, those sorts of things. So you should be okay. But just as a heads up, I'm in Thailand, and once everything opens up and I start traveling around too, like I'm going to be facing that too. And in the event that it ends up, being directly connected to the phone number more so than the actual device, then in that case, I would use like Google Voice or something like that, or like a Skype in number, so that it would do like a text call or a voice call, because you can set it up that way too. But to where it does that voice call, and then that voice call, you would get that, and then you'd be able to put the number in that way. Just make sure that you stay up to date on paying that, so that you don't, accidentally miss those calls. So Joe McFlow says, struggling, nailing down a niche, started the channel, taking videos down, pivoted and restarted a few times now. Any advice would help. As a matter of fact, I do. So I was on a conversation the other day, and during that conversation, it was talking specifically about pivoting. And this was actually with somebody that works at YouTube. And they shared just an interesting perspective on the approach that they recommend when it comes to pivoting your content. And I actually was hoping that somebody would ask this question. So thank you. So that I can share this information, because, it might help anybody that's trying to pivot. So the very first thing is, if you do have like an established channel to where you have, like a channel, and that channel is based around, a particular subject matter, then in that particular case, it might just be better to start another channel. Just because, if YouTube already has the data on that channel, and, it's already like I won't say a sizable, but if you already have like a decent, momentum going on your channel, then in that particular case, you might want to consider just starting another channel. But if you're like, hey, I want to take this channel and do it, then what they recommend is do like a 70-20-10 approach to the pivot. So basically the approach is 70% of the content that you can count on. So that's what you want to put out 70% of the time. That is the stuff that every time you put it out on your channel, people respond to it and all of that. Like in my case, it would be like view and subscriber videos, maybe some tool videos, that kind of stuff. And then 20% is medium risk content, to where it's outside of what you normally do, but it might still be like a decent fit for the audience that you currently have. And the idea here is that as you're going through this, you want to be slowly growing that new audience for the way that you're transitioning into, right? So that's why you want to have this one as kind of like a bridge between the two content, if you can find that type of content. And then the 10% is the high risk content, which is like, hey, this is something completely different. This is in the direction that I'm going to be moving in, and I'm going to be putting these out 10% of the time, so that I can just go ahead and start growing that audience while I'm using this other content to maintain the channel, and then build bridges in terms of the audience into the new content that I'm doing. So that's kind of the approach that was recommended to me in terms of when people are asking questions about pivoting their content. So I would definitely just consider that approach, just because like that is something that they recommend from a content strategy standpoint. So I would definitely take that approach. So Simply Andrews Repairs says, thank you and your group for helping me hit 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 hours of watch time.
To the Nimmin.
Thoughts on editing on YouTube to cut a few things out to boost watch time? Yeah, so absolutely, you can edit your content directly on YouTube if you would like to be able to cut out, like, for example, if you're like, hey, I've got like a 15-second intro in here and I know it's just destroying my performance of the video. Absolutely, you can go in and cut it out. So you can do those sorts of things, but the only downside with the YouTube editor is that you can't do like full-blown edits in there. But if you're like, hey, I want to take out like this section, then you absolutely can do that. And some people, some people do get better overall performance on the video after they do that. Some people don't, but some people do. So, the rest of the video is also, going to be equally as important. But, if you do notice those huge problem areas, then you absolutely can go in and cut them out. Yeah, Chantel says that she's pivoting right now. She started a new channel and keep the old one going too, and they do not line up. Yeah, when it's like in a completely different direction like that, that's the best approach to take. Okay, so let's see here. We're going back into the form for this next question here. And the next question is, let's see here. We got this one from Joe Paprianda. What's up, dude? Hope you're doing great. Says they do food recipes and reviews. The goal of the channel is to build a community around food. So a little language lesson for you. In Thai, food is ahan. So little language fun for everybody. So the goal is to build a community around food. The question is, if you live stream and you set it unlisted after it's been live, what happens to the public watch time that happened while it was live? So if you are trying to get into the YouTube Partner Program and you have a live stream, you go live. When you unlist that stream, that takes away your public watch time for that particular stream, which means that it doesn't count towards that monetization. So because of that, while you're working towards the partner program, you want to keep everything up so that you can get to that as fast as you possibly can. But then once you do get into the partner program, if you want to go through and start enlisting those streams, then absolutely, then you're good to go in that case. You'll lose that watch time, but hopefully over the next 365 days from the moment that you got approved for the partner program, hopefully you'll be able to make that watch time up so that you can make sure that you're matching or meeting those requirements every year. He says, by the way, this is Simply Small Engine Repair. I knew it was. Yeah, your Simply and Repairs gave it away. You might have noticed I stuttered when I started to say it too. Because I was like, is this? And I assumed that it was. I didn't know. I won't say that I knew because I didn't know, but I thought that it was. Let's see here. So as we keep on trucking here, the next question that we have here in the form. And if you're just joining us, just a heads up, we're talking about YouTube, and we are talking about, different, just things around YouTube. So we're talking about getting views, getting subscribers, talking about monetization. We're talking about channel names. We're talking about, a personal name versus a brand name for your YouTube channel, things like that. And this next question that we're talking about is from Jack's Content. And Jack says they do mostly gaming and reacting content. If you're a gamer, give me a shout out. Let me know here if you are a YouTube gamer. Just say me, just so I can see, so I can see those gamers representing in here. And hey, really quick, it looks like Jacker's Cracker says vidIQ hit 1 million. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the vidIQ crew for crossing 1 million subscribers on your YouTube channel, fellas. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work over there, Rob. You guys are absolutely crushing. Love seeing that. Hey, thanks for letting me know that they're Jacker's Crackers. So, but Jack's Content says that the goal of the channel is to have fun doing stuff and have people watch. Question. Hey, Nick, I haven't tried this yet, but I want to know if using the YouTube trending tab for video ideas is a good idea or not. Yeah, it can be. But the idea is when you're using the trending tab, basically when you just want to think about trending topics in general, you can use Google Trends. If you go to trends.google.com, they have like an entire area that shares information about what's trending around the world right now, about what's trended historically. You can also use this. Like if you're somebody, for example, how we were talking about pivoting a channel before, if you're somebody that is considering pivoting your channel, one of the things that you might want to consider if you're like, hey, I'm pivoting because my channel just isn't performing like it used to, then you can go to Google Trends as an example, and you can say, okay, this is the stuff that I talk about. And you can see, is this like trending up or down or like what's going on? So that you can just get an idea and make sure that, it's not just the general market itself that's taking the hit. If you're like, hey, the market's going like this, but I'm going like this, then it's on you, right? So if that's the reason that you would be pivoting, then you might want to reconsider and just start working on the content. But if you're pivoting because you are like, hey, I just want to do something else, then, it's a totally different thing. Let's see here. As we keep on going down, I'm just making sure that I got everybody here. We got Big Rig Gaming. Thank you for that. Bigfoot Video, Stoner Channel. Neil, Urban Van Life says, we now have stories. So thanks to Doug for the Twitter backup, and Mr. Peck for helping. And of course, Nick for the teachings. You all rock. And congratulations again to you, Neil. He crossed 10,000 subscribers. I think it was like a week or two ago. So congratulations again to you, my man, for that. Let's see here. Struggling nailing down a niche. Okay, here we go. This is from Joe McFlow. Says, struggling nailing down a niche. Started the channel, taking videos down. Oh, we did that one already. Let's see here. Okay, putting a reminder. Will Star says, putting a reminder for hitting the subscribe button in the pinned comment is really working out. That's great advice. Thanks, Nick. My pleasure. Yeah, using pinned comments just in general are really effective. So some things that you can do. First off, when I say pinned comment, because I know there's a lot of new content creators in here. When I say pinned comment, do you know what I mean when I say pinned comment? If you do, then just say yes. If you do not, then just say no. And I'll show you really quick what a pinned comment is, just so you can know what I'm talking about, so that I can show this to you. So really quick, another thing as well is in the member chat. Mr. Camera Junkie says, I just want to thank you for all the amazing help today. I woke up to a decimal point, officially 1,000 camera junkies in the crew. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work on that. Love it. Another 1,000 down. Another 1,000 down. Absolutely love it. So, okay, so we've got yes, yes, yes. Okay, so most people here do know what the pinned comment is. So for those of you that do not, under every single YouTube video, and I'll actually just pull this up here. I'll just pull it up on YouTube so you can see. And I know most of you know, but just for the people that don't, just so I can make sure that, everybody's informed here, because that's the goal, right? Just helping everybody out. So if we just go to, and I'm just going to go to the Drew Project, and you'll be able to see here. Let me go into the shared. Oh, no, I got to share the screen here first. Share screen. We want to share this window. This is Drew. Share there. And then we're going to click into here and then click that. I got them added to the stream still. Boom. Okay. So what a pinned comment is. If we go here, let me make this big here so it takes up the screen. So a pinned comment, for those of you that don't know, is basically to where, and by the way, if you are into music covers, Drew Project here, awesome music covers, by the way. But if you are doing, if you are uploading YouTube videos, one thing that you have the option to do is this right here. See where it says pinned by Drew Project? And for those of you that might be watching this on a mobile device, I'll zoom in here and do that again so you can see it a little bit better. But right here, it says pinned by Drew Project. So what happens is if I were to come in and I were to watch this Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper video, which I will if I haven't yet, then as I'm scrolling down to leave a comment, then one of the cool things here is this is an opportunity for us as content creators to be able to spread awareness to people that are watching our videos about anything that we want. And in some cases, people will, just put, words in here saying, hey, thanks for watching the video. This is what it's about, those types of things, and kind of use it as like a bonus to the description. Other people will use it to bring additional attention to sponsors. Other people will do it to as a way to put like affiliate links and things like that, even though I don't recommend that you use it for that. Some people do. In addition to that, you can also use this as a way to remind people to subscribe to your YouTube channel. You can use it as a way to lead people into additional content on your YouTube channel as well. So for example, if you're like, hey, the people that are watching this video would really love this other video that I made, last year at this time. But there's a really good chance they haven't seen it yet. So because of that, I'm going to let people know in my video itself, in my end screens that video is available. And I'm also going to pin a comment down here as well, so that I have two chances. And then if you use a card, you have another one. But so that I have two chances right there on the video watch page. Technically, like I said, 3 if you use the cards, 4 if you do the above the description fold on computers. But then, you have 4 chances to send that viewer into another piece of your content. And the win with this is that when you start getting views on your stuff, if you're not already, when you start getting views consistently in your videos, one thing that you'll notice is when I publish a video and I add a pinned comment, and that pinned comment is linking to another video, you can go into the real-time stats of that video and you can watch the stats climb on that video, while people are pouring into that video that you just published. So if you are a channel that already has a lot of traffic on it, you definitely want to make sure that you're taking advantage of this. If you are a channel that doesn't have tons of traffic on it, but you do have, people that are interacting with what it is that you're doing, I still recommend that you use this and you link to playlists. And I also recommend that you do from time to time also use that as an opportunity to remind people to subscribe to your YouTube channel as well. Because if they're going down into your comment section, those people are more engaged than just a casual viewer. So because of that, this is your chance to remind them, oh, hey, by the way, if you enjoyed this content, remember to subscribe. I upload videos like this every Tuesday or, whatever your schedule is. So, you can use that as an opportunity to remind people, the value that you bring on your YouTube channel and why they should subscribe to your channel or to be able to watch additional videos. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, as we keep on trucking through this list. So we're 7 questions in right now. And if you're just joining us, what we're doing is we're answering YouTube questions. So if you're a content creator, you're in the right place. We're talking about YouTube, and we are, by the time the stream's over, I'm hoping to, give you some good information about YouTube and how you can, use YouTube to grow your influence online. So our next question here is the Wild Outback. And before I get into this question, another thing I want to mention as well is even if you're hanging out and I'm not like your question, if I'm not answering your question specifically yet, just a heads up, think to yourself as I'm answering these other questions, like as I'm reading the questions that people have, like, does that apply to me? Is that, something that, would matter to me? Is that something that I could apply to my YouTube channel? But this one's from the Wild Outback, and the Wild Outback says that they do teaching survival. That's cool. The goal of the channel is to teach people and get subscribers. And the question, how do you get people to come to your channel if you are small? So that comes down to your video ideas that you come up with, and it comes down to how you package your content. And by package, I mean the topic of your video, because that's the highest level thing, then your thumbnail, and then of course your title. So in order for somebody to actually come in to see your video, they need to click on that stuff from somewhere. Right. So they need to click on it from somebody sharing it on social media. They need to click on it, on YouTube, but people got to click. So you have to, as a YouTube content creator, you have to develop the skill set of starting to understand the people that you're trying to reach with your content so that you can learn how to get them to click. And, you do this through experimentation. Part of being a content creator is experimentation. It's not just like, hey, I'm just going to do whatever I want. It's like, hey, I'm going to do these things and I'm going to just pay very careful attention to how the choices that I'm making are being received by the people that are interacting with what it is that I'm doing. So what you want to do as a small YouTube content creator is you want to just look at the impressions that you're getting in your videos. And then that confirms that YouTube is trying to show your content to people, or that YouTube is. And then from there, you want to say, okay, out of, if YouTube showed my video to 500 people and I had like one person click on it, then, I need to work on how I'm packaging this stuff up. I need to work on the topics of my videos. I need to work on how I'm putting my thumbnails together. I need to work on my titles. Like I need to work on all this stuff if YouTube is showing my content to people, but nobody's clicking on it. But then once you get them to click on it, the next thing is if you want your videos to perform well on YouTube, then people also have to enjoy the content enough to where YouTube deems it as a satisfactory experience for the viewer. And when they do that, typically that comes down to them watching your videos for a fair amount of time, possibly watching more of your content, subscribing, commenting, liking, all that good stuff. But they have a bunch of different signals that they use. But the idea is that if they detect that people are enjoying your content and you're able to get people to click on it, they're going to keep showing it to people, because you are serving the platform in terms of what it is that they are trying to accomplish, which is keeping people on YouTube and keeping people enjoying content on YouTube, so that they'll keep coming back to YouTube. They'll keep coming back and watching more. That's the idea. So, so in order to, get your videos in front of people, YouTube is showing your content to people. When you publish a video, even if you start today, YouTube is going to show your content to people. That might not show it to, millions of people, but it's going to show it to some people. It's going to test your content on the platform. And depending on how the people that it tests the content against respond to the content, that's going to determine the performance of the video. So a couple inspirational things I want to share with you really quick, or motivational, I should say, is a lot of content creators, they get caught up in this thing of like, oh, I'm new. I have like all of this stuff that I have to do in order to deserve getting views on what it is that I'm doing or whatever. But at the end of the day, like if you make just a banging piece of content and people really enjoy it, then you can do very well off of your very first YouTube video. If you are in that process of like, hey, I'm learning how to make it better and my stuff is pretty good, then you'll do okay. Like right out of the gate, you'll start getting some views, you'll start getting people to respond to what it is that you're doing. And then as YouTube starts collecting more and more data on who the right people are to show your content to and all of that, then they'll be testing it against more and more people. And then your channel will start to swell as you are able to get those people to respond and then also give them a satisfactory experience with your content. So, for new content creators, like, the interesting thing about YouTube is that, like in my case, right? If you look at my channel, like I've got 800 and something thousand subscribers on my channel. And if you make a video today and we make a video about the same topic, if your video, like I'll get initially, like as soon as we publish the video, if you have, a channel with, 100 viewers or 100 subscribers on it, as soon as we publish the video, my video will get shown to more people because YouTube has more data on my channel and who's a good fit for it right out of the gate. So initially, I'll get shown to more people, at the time of publish. However, the great thing about YouTube is if you started a channel today and your video ends up over time doing better to where it's like, hey, when people click on this video on this topic, they end up watching this video all the way to the end. They click in the end screen, they watch more videos and more videos and more videos, and they subscribe and they keep coming back to this channel, and YouTube detects like, hey, people are really digging this. Then over time, your video, even though you have 100 subscribers on your channel, of course, that video would help grow your subscriber count too. But over time, your video can do better than mine. So, just keep that in mind in terms of how YouTube works. So like, channel size isn't a guarantee of view count. So, the playing field, I wouldn't say it's level because it's not, because of that of what happens at the time of publish. However, the opportunity that you have to get in front of a lot of people, if you can make really good content, is extremely high, even if you're just getting started. For example, Drew, I think, Drew Project's in the house right now. So, an example for him is he just did a cover. He did an Adele cover. In that particular video, like really quickly, bam, he got like 1,000 views on that video, like bam. And it was because, Adele's, very popular. So when he did that cover, people responded to that, but the cover's awesome. So the awesome content, it's like, hey, this is the song. A lot of people are already proven to like this song. And then he did the cover on that song, and he did an amazing cover of that song. And obviously other people thought the same because they watched it for a longer period of time. And plus they were clicking on it. And therefore that video quickly got 1,000 views. And I'm sure it will continue to do well over time. So, so the idea is you got to make sure that, when you're putting your content out, that you're just doing the best that you can to just create an awesome experience for the people that are interacting with what it is that you're doing. Walter's World in the house. What's up, man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Roberto Blake in the house as well. What's up, my man? Hope that you are also doing fantastic. Says new YouTube channels have an advantage in some ways over older channels. See, we got that too. So, I just wanted to just remind you, because I know a lot of people that are hanging out in the chat today, watching the stream. I know a lot of people, are just getting started. So I just wanted to remind you that, that you do have, as much of an opportunity to have an awesome video that performs great on the platform, as much as, anybody else does. So next question that we have on our list here is from PE4 Doers. Says they do computer tech content. The goal of the channel is to teach people about computers and technology. And the question, do you have any suggestions for improving motivation during times when the views seem to be low? Who here is like, if you're hanging out in the chat right now, who here struggles with motivation when it comes to uploading videos to YouTube? When it comes to doing this whole thing, who here struggles with motivation? Here are my tips for motivation when it comes to just YouTube or just life in general. So first off, understand that not everybody is motivated all the time, right? Like everybody has those periods of time to where it's just kind of like, hey, I just don't feel like doing it, right? Everybody has that. So what you have to do is you have to separate your motivation from like the things that you want to do to the discipline side of things to the things that you will do, right? So when it comes to motivation, what you want to do is you want to say, okay, what I want to do is I'm going to separate the connection in my brain to like, hey, do I want to do video? Do I not want to do a video? To I do videos at this time, this many videos, and I do them this way, blah, blah, blah. Like if you're trying to, accomplish something, then you want to make sure that you're leaning on the discipline side and making sure that you're doing the thing, right? But in addition to that, another thing that can be really advantageous when you do have those motivational problems is one, just like going for a walk. For me, that's huge. Just going for like a walk. Meditation has been huge for me, to where like if I'm just not feeling the vibe, then like 20 minutes just sitting down and meditating for me personally, like that will just kind of reset me. It'll kind of lift me up a little bit and just kind of get me into the right frame of mind to where I'll just see things a little bit differently than I would beforehand. But when it comes to the walk, same exact thing. You're out there, you're walking, you're getting your energy up. You're away from your computer, away from your camera, unless you're vlogging, of course, and you have it with you while you're walking. But you are just giving yourself that opportunity to just kind of be out of that environment of recording the videos and just kind of be there with your thoughts, and you just be out there getting your blood pumping, so that when you do get ready to turn on the camera, then in that particular case, you're just you have a little bit more energy to do it, right? But energy management, when it comes to doing anything, if it's making YouTube videos, if it is just managing your life, energy management is huge. So you just have to also make sure that you're spending your energy in the right places too, because it's really easy to, get caught up, like let's say one thing that I have a habit of doing, and I have to keep checking myself on it, is like, let's say that I'll be in like a Facebook group or a subreddit or something. And then I'll start getting into these like, debates with people. That takes a lot of energy. And, if you do that enough, then the next thing you're like, oh man, it's like, like I gotta, start making videos here in like an hour and I'm exhausted, right? Because you just put out so much energy doing that. So, because of that, just make sure that you are looking into those places where you are spending your energy, and make sure that you are prioritizing the things that are important to you, whatever those things are. If it's making video content, if it's just, enjoying, whatever it is that you're doing, just make sure that you are, just managing your energy for that. But also, and this one I believe is also really important, is if you are looking for motivation when it comes to your YouTube channel, one thing that can be really advantageous is also having just a hard goal that you're working for. If you have a hard goal that you're working for, something that you're trying to accomplish or an impact that you're trying to make with your content, then that by itself can be extremely motivational, because like that difference that you're trying to make, or that goal that you're trying to accomplish, can be that thing that pushes you forward even when you're not really feeling the vibe. Let's see here. So hopefully that helped. Michelle Campbell.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you get the chance that you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. It'll actually redirect to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, and I will get you into that group as soon as this live stream is over. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, I just want to make sure I got everybody taken care of here. Let's see here. Putting a reminder to hit the subscribe button. Okay, so Matthew Jock, I hope you're saying that correct. I apologize if not. Says, can you go over some of the copyright rules or use of other media and music? I'd like to expand on narrative historicals. So when it comes to this, like if I give you direct advice and you take that advice, it could get you into legal trouble. So when it comes to copyright related information, I recommend, of course, I have to say the disclaimer that I recommend that you reach out to a copyright attorney, and that you are getting, they're going to be the person that would defend you in this situation. So you want to make sure that you are passing, at least a video by them and saying, this is the way that I'm going to be doing it. Would you be able to defend this as fair use? But what you want to look into is you want to look into fair use. Now, if you're doing historical things, really good chance you're going to be able to get away with it. But I would just look into fair use just to make sure that the way that you're going to be putting the content together, which I'm going to guess the way that you're going to be doing it will be transformative in some way. But you just want to make sure that you're doing it in a way that is transformative, okay, and that falls under fair use. But when it comes to music specifically, I wouldn't use music unless you either are paying for it or that you have the license to use it. So, there's a lot of free music out there, but not everybody gives the actual, rights to use that music. They don't give the license for it. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are getting that license. Now, I know Roberto's in the house. Zenbuster Music is his service. I know that they, give permission to use their stuff. I know Stream Beats gives permission to use their stuff. I know if you use a music subscription, like the music that you might be hearing, depending on if you have headphones on or not. But if you have headphones on, there's Epidemic sound music playing in the background of this right now. So, you know, because I'm paying for that service, I can get the license from them. So if I have any issues, I got it covered. My brother and I are getting ready to open a streaming service as well. And with that, we're also giving the licenses there to where you'll be able to freely use that also. So make sure that you stay tuned for that, by the way, because we're doing that for free for content creators. So, so I'll keep you up to date on that too. But the idea is you just want to make sure that you're getting the rights to use what it is that you have, or that you make sure that the way that you're using it falls under fair use. And if you do one of those two things, then you should be fine. Let's see here. So Blind Life Gaming says, what's the most money that somebody can donate super chat? So at one time, I think it's like 500, I believe, for one push. But you know, somebody can give 500, 500, 500, 500 if they wanted to. But I'm pretty sure that 500 is the top limit. I think that's the most that I've ever gotten, 500. So it could be higher, but I think that 500 is the limit. And All Things Wagner, thank you for the super chat. So the next question that we have, and by the way, if you are just joining the stream, we are talking about YouTube and how to grow your YouTube channel, how to get views, how to make money, how to grow your influence online, how to do all the stuff related to YouTube. I'm pulling questions from this form here. Heidi, what's up? Costume CEO, hope you're doing great. Penny Morgan, what's up? Nice to see you in here too. Basically what we are doing is I'm pulling the questions from the description, or from the form that's in the description below this stream right now. And then of course, I'm going to be pulling them out of the chat here in just a little bit as well. Mark Side Bottom Crafts, what's up? Hope that you are doing great also. So next up on our list here, we got the computer tech one taken care of, about motivation there. But motivation's no joke when it comes to YouTube or just doing anything. Like, you know, motivation's no joke because, you know, there's always other stuff to do. And plus there's just the feelings of like, you know, hey, you know, I just don't feel like doing it today. But, you know, other little details too on the motivation thing, like make sure you stay hydrated. Like that sounds silly, but make sure you stay hydrated. It makes a huge difference on what you're able to do and just your focus and all that stuff. So Normal Mode TV is the next question that we have here. They upload when they have time. They do game reviews. Any other game reviewers in here by any chance? But they do game reviews, and the goal of the channel is to eventually be monetized and have time to make videos. And the question, been finding it very difficult to make time for YouTube while stuck at work all day. Any advice for staying productive at a 9 to 5? Whoa, that was a weird breath. So when you are, I was like, I like inhaled, but like something happened to my throat and like something else opened, and it was like a weird like thing that went on. But anyway, when it comes to tips for being productive at your 9 to 5, great opportunity to Slack at your job and answer YouTube comments through the YouTube Creator Studio app. It's actually called YT Studio, I think now. But basically there's an app put out by YouTube. It's this one right here, that one, YT Studio, and all YouTube content creators should have this. I mean, you may or may not. I like it because then I can answer comments on the fly. I can, you know, if I'm thinking about anything related to my channel, I can go and look at stats, things like that if I need to. But, you know, it can also be an obsessive thing to where it can cause you to be like that feeling of that you want to look at it all the time. But it's you know, like doing things like that while you're working. Great opportunity to research video ideas, great ideas to, you know, script your videos, get your bullet points together, get your shot list together, depending on, you know, the type of content that you're making. You can definitely do stuff like that, you know, while you're, you know, at your job, if there's time, you know, within your job to be able to do that. Lunch breaks, you know, places where they waste your time, you know, like lunch breaks, waiting for meetings, all that wasteful stuff. You know, you can do it during that time. Next question, Radical Geek.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. If you go here, it's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in because that is how I verify that you are a member here after the stream. And as a heads up, if you can do that sometime while we're streaming, I will get you in there as soon as the stream is complete. All right. Good question. Quality over quantity. So when it comes to quality over quantity, stop thinking about quality or quantity. What you want to think about is, I want to make great content for the people that are going to be interacting with my content. The reason that you want to think that is because when you know, let's go to space. There we go. So when you are, when you're putting your content together, right? A lot of YouTube content creators will get caught up in these things like, okay, should I do quality or quantity? And the way to think about that is, if you were to, I'm not going to use a food reference. Let's just do it from this way. Your job as a YouTube content creator, if you want to do well on YouTube, is to create content that people respond to in a positive way over and over and over again over time. So no matter what you do, you're going to have to do that. Your videos are going to have to be at a certain quality in order to make that happen so that you can continually get views from YouTube. Now, by quality, I do not mean that you have, like a high-end camera. I do not mean that your audio sounds, this certain way, or that you're using music, or that you're doing like any of this other stuff. What I mean is quality on YouTube is determined by the people that are interacting with our content. There are plenty of videos on YouTube of just somebody walking around talking on their phone. There's no edits whatsoever. The audio is kind of like, and they're just kind of walk around on their phone doing their thing, and people love it. And those videos will do well, even though somebody that doesn't understand how YouTube works would look at that and say, why is this getting, so many views on it? Why are people liking this so much? The camera quality is bad. The audio is not that great. Like, what's going on? But it's because the people that are coming into that piece of content, they respond to it in a positive way. It could be the creator. It could be the thing that creator is talking about. It could be their beliefs about something that causes people to stick around in that particular video that they share, things like that. But, quality isn't the thing that people typically think it is when it comes to YouTube. Now, of course, you absolutely have camera quality and audio quality and just overall production. You have that. But at the end of the day, you have to look at quality through the eyes of the viewer experience. And if you look at quality through the eyes of the viewer experience, then you're going to do awesome on YouTube, because then you don't start looking at limitations. You don't start looking at it from the perspective of, should I just upload a lot of videos, or should I focus on making good videos? The choice is always focus on making good videos. Like, for example, if you are subscribed to any streaming service, if you're subscribed to Netflix, if you're subscribed to Hulu or HBO or Amazon Prime, any of that stuff, like, how would you feel if, like, because you're paying for that service, just like some people pay for YouTube Premium, but people use YouTube for free also. But basically, like, if you were to log into like Netflix and there's just a bunch of crap, like bunch of, there is a bunch of crap. I mean, if we just call it what it is, yeah, sure, there is a bunch of crap on Netflix, but and on all the other streaming services too. But you know what I mean? Like, it's that way to me, but there are a lot of people that do watch, some of the things that I don't watch, and vice versa. But the idea is that when you log into those things, if it's just a bunch, just mass uploads into Netflix, you'd be like, what's going on here? This is, it's a mess. But when it comes to YouTube, just keep in mind, they have over 500 hours of video uploaded to the over 500 hours of video uploaded to the platform every minute that goes by. So what that means is only the content that is good in terms of it's creating a good experience for the viewers on the platform. That's the content that rises through that mess of content that's being published to the platform. If it's not creating a good viewer experience, it's going to stay down here. If it's creating a okay viewer experience or good enough viewer experience, then it'll be here. If it's creating an awesome viewer experience, like Mr. Beast, for example, then it's going to be up here, right? In terms of it rising to the top. So, because of that, just make sure that you're not looking at, quality and quantity, that you're not looking at them as like, these things related to like cameras and just like mass uploading and all of that. Look at it from the perspective of, first, I got to learn how to make content that people respond to in a positive way. Once I make that content, once I learn how to do that, and I am consistently getting views, then if I want to upload more because I've learned how to, make content, people are responding to it well, then in that case, you've learned how to make that quality piece of content from the viewer perspective. Then in that case, if you want to double down and start making, 2 videos a week or 3 videos a week, then in that case, you're uploading more, but the content that you're uploading is quality content. So that's the idea in terms of quality and quantity. Jerry, oops, hitting the wrong buttons. Got buttons all over the place.
Welcome
Don't know what's going on.
to the Nimminati.
What's up, Jerry? Go to nimminvip.com. Members only Facebook group. It's going to redirect you right in there. Bam. See you over there. I think you're already in there, actually. But if not, make sure that you head over there, and I'll get you in as soon as the stream is complete. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? I didn't stream last Saturday, so that's why. So basically, I add those in every Saturday after the stream, because the streams are typically where most people will join. So you'll be added as soon as the stream is complete. Let's see here. So as we keep on going through this list, we've got normal mode. Did I do normal mode already? Nope. Yeah, we did already. Okay. So next up, let's go ahead and pull one out of the chat right now. So if you've got a question, just put a Q in front of it, and we're going to go through a handful of questions here directly out of the chat. So make sure you put a Q in front of your question, so I know it's for me and not like a side conversation in the chat. And we'll go ahead and just start crushing through some of these questions. I got my countdown timer ready, so we can get into some some lightning round modes maybe. But let's go ahead and, get those questions dropping, and we will go ahead and start answering some of the questions for maybe, if you're just joining the stream, if you're just showing up, maybe you just woke up, maybe you just got the notification, want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get your question answered as well. And just a heads up, if you have a Twitter account, if you have, social media to where any YouTubers watch it, or, you're in contact with other content creators, feel free to share this, so we can get more content creators in here, hanging out. So let's see here. So question. First one, we've got, let's see here. How can you intermix 2 to 3 YouTube channels from one station? By station, I'm not sure what you mean, but if you mean like, how do you create 2 to 3 different YouTube channels and then somehow link them together so that you can send traffic around through those different YouTube channels? If that's what you mean, then in that particular case, you would create all 3 channels based on something that is where the audiences would be similar. So for example, if you were doing, if you had like a, let's see here, how could we do this one? If you had one channel that covered like MacBooks, and then you had another channel that covered like tablets, iPads, and then you had another channel that covered iPhones, then in that case, the likelihood of the people that were in the MacBook crowd being able to flow over into your tablet and phone content is pretty high. Of course, you could put all that into one channel if you wanted to, but if you were trying to like really niche it down and you're trying to do that, the audience that would be, consuming the content across those would be relatively similar, because if you have a MacBook, really good chance you're probably in the whole ecosystem. So because of that, the likelihood when you're trying to get those people to go to those other channels, the likelihood of them actually going over and consuming that content on a regular basis and enjoying that content, which is the most important thing, is going to be, high. So, when you are looking at it from that perspective, you only want to be sending people back and forth if it is the right fit for the viewers. So for example, if I started a channel about making coffee, I wouldn't even let you guys know about it. Like I would just make that channel, and then I would grow that channel organically by itself. And like nobody here would even know that it was going on, because I wouldn't want you to go over there and participate in that unless you were an ideal fit for that content. There's no way for me to make a post in my community feed and say, hey, started a new channel, go check it out. And there's no way for me to know that the people that would be going over there and checking it out would be enthusiasts and not just be going over there to support me because I put that new channel up. So the idea is you want to make sure that you are, if you're trying to get traffic to flow between multiple channels, you want to make sure that there is audience overlap there, clear audience overlap. So for example, on my channel, I have a clips channel for this live stream, and I upload videos over there occasionally. And when I upload videos over there, I can share them in my community feed, because the information that I'm talking about over there is just like what I'm talking about here in the stream, because it actually comes out of this live stream. So because of that, the audience crossover there is a perfect fit. So because of that, I can share those in my community feed. I've got a playlist, on my channel page, sending people, over to their, over to those videos as well. But the idea is to make sure that there's a good audience overlap. Let's see here. Why did the watch hours drop over the month of October? So one thing that you might want to do is you might want to look on Google Trends to see if your, the subject matter that you talk about, if if it's trending down right now. For everybody, for whatever type of content that you make, you should be looking at that on a regular basis anyway, just to kind of help you get in tune with kind of, the ups and downs that you might go through seasonally with your content. But there's that. In addition to that, in September, a lot of people started going back to school. So there's that. But keep in mind that viewership overall here for the fourth quarter, it typically starts to rise, like now. So because of that, as we start approaching the holidays, all that, more and more people should be coming on to, spending more time on YouTube. So just keep that in mind as well. Another thing, just for the elephant in the room, we also need to, you also have to look in terms of the specific content that you've been putting out too. So, if your watch hours drop, that could be based on, the content that you're putting out, or the, if you've broken your consistency, for example, and you're not putting out content as regularly as you were before, things like that can also have that type of impact. But, it could also be something related to just your niche, or to, people going back to school, that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Opening for 2 Live Crew. Yep. At your house, your backyard. Opening for them in your backyard. Advice for getting an intro and a jingle. Absolutely. If you are going to get a jingle, go to musicradiocreative.com. That is Mike Russell is his, if you go to look for Mike Russell on YouTube, that's his YouTube channel. He's an audio guy. I've done collaborations with him and stuff, really knowledgeable. And in addition to being knowledgeable about audio, he's just an awesome guy. He's nice. He's down to earth. He's humble, all of those things. Just a really cool dude, him and his wife. But you can check out his YouTube channel, and they do a Jingle Friday to where you can actually super chat and you can get just kind of like basic jingles. But if you want some stuff like this.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
Yeah, like he made that, for example. So if you want stuff like that, then just go to musicradiocreative.com and then you can, place an order over there for that. In terms of an intro, if you're looking for like a graphical intro, then you can get that type of thing off of Fiverr. You can also go to like placeit.net. They have templates that you can use for those as well, where you can make it yourself. But keep in mind, logo intros aren't even necessary. Like you can use them if you want, but they're not necessary. They don't really add to the viewer experience. It's more of an interruption. You can use them. Feel free if you want to, but just pay really close attention to your audience retention reports to make sure that your intro is not costing you any percentage in viewership. If you're losing 2% of your viewers during that intro, then during that period of time, if you're looking at one video that has, 1,000 views on it, it might not seem like a lot. But if you scale that 2% out over all of your content that you're going to be using that intro on over the next, 3 years or 5 years or 10 years or whatever it happens to be, that 2% all of a sudden becomes a very big number of people that you might miss out on because you wanted to throw a logo in their face. So, because of that, other ways that you can do that, just as a heads up, and, you do you, right? You're a creator. So, do whatever you would like to. I'm just saying, make sure you're paying attention to see how people respond to it. But just food for thought. Another way, if you do need to get your logo in front of people for branding purposes, another thing you can do for that's non-intrusive is you see how this thing right here is popping up. The lower third is popping up right here, and it has your name on it, and it has a little statement down below it, your question. Well, you can also do similar things there to where you would have like your logo would be a little bit bigger over here, and then you would have your name coming out of that, and then the value that you offer on your YouTube channel under that. So it's non-intrusive as you're sitting there talking and just going through whatever it is that you're doing in your video. That animates into the frame. It shows people, your brand, shows them your name, shows them what it is that you offer on your channel. And then that part's, it's still accomplishing the same thing. Now, I know in some cases that the logo intros are a good segue. So it's like, hey, I have my hook that I do and then drop my logo intro as the segue into the actual content. I know a lot of people do that, and that's fine. But if you do take that approach, I recommend that you keep your intro to like 3 seconds. If you really want to go wild with it, go to 5, but I recommend that you take it down to 3 seconds or even shorter if you can. Let's see here. So next up on our list, how to get people to see my stuff. So when it comes to your content on YouTube, one of the things that's really important to make sure that you're thinking about is that when it comes to your video performance, everything is based on your ability, because let me back this up a little bit. If you go into your YouTube analytics, and you can see this on your phone or you can see it on your computer, you're going to see something called impressions. Impressions is when YouTube is showing your videos to somebody on the platform. It could be, they could be showing it in the subscription feed. It could be showing it on a home page, suggested videos on your channel page, all those things. But an impression is, this is, this is YouTube showing your content to people. So you have to learn how to get some of those people to click on your videos when they see them. It's a skill, it's an art. It's all of those things. It's an understanding of who it is that you're trying to reach, all those things. But you have to be able to get people to click on what it is that you're doing. Once you get people to click on what it is that you're doing, you have to give them a great experience. And the thing to think about is YouTube is a platform. Tons of people are uploading content here every single day, every single minute. And as people are uploading content to the platform, the artificial intelligence that runs the platform, it has all of the entire archive of all of the content that's ever been uploaded to YouTube ever. Plus, it has all of the new content that's being uploaded every single minute, every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's got all this new content that's being flushed into the system. And what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to get people to click at a rate that's competitive against all of that other content. And you have to be able to get people to respond to your videos in terms of how much they're watching it, how much they're enjoying it, how much they're interacting with it in terms of comments, likes, subscribing to it, clicking on your end screens, watching more videos, adding your content to playlists, all of those things. You have to be able to get people to do all of those things and have this great experience with your content so that YouTube can start prioritizing your content because it gives a great experience to their viewers, at least enough so that it's competitive, with the other content on the platform. And the better you get at that, the more your content's going to end up rising through the ranks, so to speak, because you're giving that great experience to the people that are interacting with it. The system's going to detect it. And the great thing about YouTube, one of the many great things about YouTube, is that once YouTube understands who's a great fit for your content, they're going to start showing it to a lot more people on the platform that are a great fit for your content. And then from there, it just comes down to you being able to get people to click and just continually video after video after video, give that good experience to the people that are interacting with your content. Will Star says, I use my iPhone and iMovie Mobile to record and edit 100%. How can I normalize music and talking audio? Getting people asking to fix that issue, and I don't know how to fix it in my iPhone. So there is an app called Audio. It's not Audio File. It is, There is an app. It's audio something, and I can't remember the name of it. They have a website for it as well, but they have an app, and you can export the audio only, run the audio through that app, and actually apply processing to it. It's a paid app, but you can apply processing to your audio there. You might also want to look into GarageBand. They might have something like that in GarageBand too, to where you can export the audio out of your video, run it through any type of voice processing that they have in GarageBand, or that app that I'm talking about, and then import it back into whatever app it is that you use to edit. But basically, the idea with that app that I was talking about, the audio something, is that with that particular one, it actually will kind of fill out your audio, and it's kind of like an AI mastering of your audio as well. So the results that you can get out of it are actually pretty profound. So I would definitely give that a shot. I wish I could remember off the top of my head. Maybe somebody that's hanging out in the chat might be able to help with this in terms of the name. It's audio. It's not Audio File. It's not Audio Hijack, even though that might do it. What's up, Renee? I hope you're doing great, man. It might be, you might be able to use Audio Hijack for that. I'm not familiar with that particular app, but the idea is there are apps out there. What I would look for would be like audio processing or, something like that. When you're looking in the App Store to see if one of those particular apps comes up. Let's see here. So Video for Bosses. Let me scroll down here for this. And then actually we'll get to that one right here in a second. Terrestrial Vibe says, is there more we can do to bring in viewership from outside of YouTube? Example, TikTok, Facebook, etc. Or are there any good strategies? Absolutely. So a couple things to think about. One is that when you are uploading your content to these other platforms, like as a content creator, that doesn't mean that you have to lock yourself into YouTube, right? Like if you are creating content, you're essentially building a brand for the internet. So because of that, it can be advantageous, depending on the type of content, to have a YouTube channel for that brand, to have a TikTok account for that brand, to have an Instagram for that, to have, a Facebook page or a Facebook group or whatever for that brand. That's like a good approach to take. So it's not always about like, hey, how can I just use these to send everybody into YouTube? It's about like, hey, how do I just get in front of, my audience, wherever it is that they happen to be that would enjoy my content the most. So, if YouTube is that place, then of course, trying to get people here is fine. But if your audience is also hanging out over on TikTok, which I'm sure they are, then in that case, you might be able to get in front of them there and just make a content that's appropriate for that platform and just keep them there. But one thing that you can do is you can set up like link trees and things like that in all of your bios everywhere, like your About Me page on YouTube. You can set it up in your About Me page on TikTok, Instagram. I don't think you can do it on Facebook. Yeah, you can put the URLs into Facebook too on your profile and on your page. But basically just sending people to a link tree that shows like all of your social media outlets so that they can follow you in all those different places is definitely something, is definitely a way that you can do that. Now, other things that people do, because you're like, hey, you know, what's the approach? Other things that people do as well is they'll mention it. They'll say, you know, like, for example, I followed tons of people off of TikTok. I followed them on YouTube because I'm on TikTok I'm on YouTube way more than I'm on TikTok. So like Kara, she does like music production. Like I found her on TikTok, but she mentioned, you know, hey, I've got a YouTube channel, follow me over there. And I was like, oh, great. And I instantly opened up my app and I, you know, started looking for her to find her over there. So, you know, just spreading that awareness, letting people know that you are on YouTube as well, so that if they want to consume your content on YouTube or want to follow you there, they can. But it's just about spreading awareness is the idea. So you can do that through that bio and just constantly be trying to send people to your bio. You can do it through just, you know, that verbal mention in your videos on the other platforms. You can also do it by just putting like little, you know, graphics, you know, just like we have this here at the bottom of the screen. You could have something similar that pops up that says, you know, hey, if you're enjoying this, follow me on YouTube too, or something like that. So, you know, the idea is just spreading awareness about it so that people will know that you have the other options available. What's a good book that you would recommend related for YouTube related for content creators? So right here. So there's 3 books. This one here is YouTube Formula. It's the most recent. It's written by Daryl Eves, who is extremely knowledgeable on YouTube. This next one over here is Brian G. Johnson. It's called Tube Ritual. And this one over here is YouTube Secrets by Sean Cannell and Benji Travis. And all of these are fantastic books. So Brian's, he helps you go from 0 to 5,000 subscribers, basically teaches you like the best practice stuff. And with YouTube Secrets, that one is about, you know, growing your influence in general, plus monetizing it. And then YouTube Formula is about like, you know, hey, if your channel's, you know, kind of moving along, like here are the things that you need to make sure that you're focusing on. So, you know, all 3 of those are fantastic. In addition to that, I also recommend just a few other books that you might enjoy as a YouTube content creator. Extreme Ownership, for those of you that, you know, are having the motivation problem. Extreme Ownership is a fantastic book just on, you know, personal liability or personal responsibility, and just ownership of like all the different things that happen and all the different choices that you make. Rework is good if you make any type of products. Search Inside Yourself is fantastic. That is from a Google ambassador. And with that particular one, that one's actually about meditation, but I love it. Superfans is also a great book. That one's by Pat Flynn, and it's right here, Superfans. And on that one, basically he goes into depth and detail about how to grow like a hungry audience. And what I mean by that is people that are just really into what it is that you're doing based on the connections that they have with you. There's another one called, let's see here. Let me scroll down. Primal Branding is another one. With Primal Branding, that particular one is also along the same lines as the Superfans. So those are some to get you started. So Video for Bosses says, hey, Nick, I'm doing 100 days of live streams on YouTube. Do you think this can help or hurt my channel growth? Any tips are appreciated. If people respond positively to your live streams, you'll be fine. If they don't, then it won't do, you know, much either way. So the idea isn't necessarily like, hey, I'm just trying to flush the platform with content. With whatever it is that you're doing, if it's video content or if it's live streams, you got to make sure that it's content that people are responding to positively, because just putting the content out there, it's not enough. It has to be content that people respond to positively. And the only way that you do that is by putting out content and by learning through that content that you put out, you know, when you get the data on the back end. So, you know, I wouldn't commit necessarily to 100 days. But one thing that I would do is as you start that journey, is I would just be paying really close attention to, you know, how people are responding to the streams, how many people you're getting in there, how long people stay, and just start looking at the channel as well. Like, are these streams, bringing in subscribers or not? Are they bringing in a lot of views or not on the replay? Another thing as well, like if you are going to be putting out that much content, I don't know what your streams are like. I don't know if you're going to be doing 20-minute streams or an hour long or whatever, but if you're putting out that many live streams over, over the next 100 days, one thing that I really encourage you to do is design your live streams for the replay. And what I mean by that is everything's awesome when you're live, right? But when you can design your live stream for the sake of the replay value, then you'll be able to fully capitalize on that live stream. So what you want to do is, like, when you start your live stream, you want to just come right in and actually start it. You don't want to have like countdown timers, stuff like that, because people will bail during those countdown timers on the replay. So what you want to do is you want to just come right into your stream and start delivering the value and frame the entire live stream around a particular topic that is a direct fit for your audience. Like your name is Video for Bosses. So I'm guessing that you're teaching like entrepreneurs how to, do online video. So if that's the case, then in that particular situation, then every single live stream, it shouldn't be Video for Bosses live stream number 2, Video for Bosses live stream number 38. It should be how entrepreneurs can leverage video for their business, how entrepreneurs can grow YouTube channels, how entrepreneurs can use Facebook to do XYZ, how entrepreneurs can make, 50 TikTok videos in one day, how, things like that. So that way each live stream is packaged around an idea so that when people are seeing it in the live stream, that's cool. But if you end up not getting a ton of people on the live stream, that's cool too, because if you design it for the replay, then in that case, as soon as your stream starts, like I mentioned before, if you take the advice of just coming into the stream, then as soon as your stream starts, you're like, hey, in this, in this video, we're going to be covering this. I'm going to be showing you how to make 50 TikTok videos over the course of the day. I'm going to show you how to do the whole thing. It's going to take us about 30 minutes to get through that information. Let's get into it. And then you pull up your slides, you start talking about the idea. And what you're doing there when you do that is you create that cool live experience, but you, more importantly, create a piece of content that can live on YouTube forever and still get a positive response. So just look at it from the perspective of you're creating 100 live videos over the next 100 days. So instead of looking at it like, hey, I'm just live streaming, I'm creating 100 live videos of content over the next 100 days. And I'm going to structure those and package those, topic, title, and thumbnail. I'm going to structure those and package those in a way to where they'll be appropriate as a piece of video content. So that's the approach that you want to take. Let's see here. So how do I determine the best time to upload my video to improve view rate? So YouTube actually gives us that information in our analytics. They show us the time when our viewers are most online. So what you want to do is you want to look at that information and you want to publish like right before your viewers are starting to like really swell up. So so basically you have like the dark color, right? To where it's like, hey, like this is like the bright color, I guess, to where it's like the most solid. Like, in that case, like that's when the people are like, are like really like, they're most, and if you just hover over it, it'll tell you, in those spots. But basically what you want to do is you want to publish like right before that, just for time the notifications to go out and stuff like that. Let's see here. We did the book. We did that. 500, ratchet up your art. If you are a content creator and you have 500 subscribers, that will get you the community tab. Let's see here. As I keep on going down through this list here, we've got, okay, let me check over here really quick. Did I close that one? No. Okay, there was that. And then drop this into starred. Let's see what we got here. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. So next up on our list, while I'm waiting for this starred thing to load, hold on. Oh, it loaded there. Okay. So started my boxing channel. Whoa, hold on. We're going to do that one more time. Go over to starred. Okay. Started my boxing channel 10 months and now I have 7,200 subscribers. I go live every day at the same time and have 400 to 500 listening to me each show. Should I sell merch now? What do you think about a members only? Without question. And this is from New Media Today, USA Boxing. Without question, you should start selling merch. In addition to that, you should put together an email list. In my opinion, this is like what I would do. Put together an email list, and with that email list, you make something that you can offer to those people that are coming in for the boxing. It could be like an upcoming schedule. It could be, like I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're talking about. It could be if you're showing people how to box, then in that case, it could be like boxing techniques or whatever. But try to start collecting emails too, so that you can also market to them. If you are talking about boxing, if there's anything affiliate related, that also gives you the opportunity to bring that to their attention while also giving them value emails in terms of things related to boxing. But absolutely, definitely do merch. In terms of members, I would also open that up as well, just so that you can tap into that. But keep in mind with your membership, just make sure that you're offering something that would encourage people to subscribe. Freaking awesome. No idea how you got everything to come up upside down. That's pretty awesome there. So Natural Laricia.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you get the chance, go to nimminvip.com. It's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in. That's how I verify that you're a member. And if you can do that during the stream today, I will get you in there as soon as the stream is complete today, while I'm in chill mode, actually. So the stream won't even go down. We'll actually be in chill mode with music playing and all that, but I'll let you in during that time if you can get it in there today. So let's see here. So as we keep on trucking down this list, Tyler White says, is batching good or bad? I find the quality of my videos goes down when I make videos in bulk. If your audience responds differently to the videos that you make in bulk and your audience responds in a way that is negative, then absolutely you might want to bulk create less. Still bulk create if you can, if your content type supports it, but maybe instead of doing 5 videos, you do 3, or instead of doing 3, you do 2, so that you can, just create more than one piece of content at a time if that fits into what it is that you're doing. But if it's like, hey, the quality's down a little bit, but my audience responds in the same exact way, even though my vision of what it is that I'm doing, the quality is a little bit less. If your audience is responding the same way, that's what's most important. And then on the videos that you can put in more time to bring them to your particular standard, then in that case, I would definitely do that, because you want to obviously have, good standards of what it is that you're doing. But, if you notice like, hey, I can put tons of time into this like first video to make sure that that one's like, definitely hitting that high standard that I have. And then for the second one, I'm going to bring it to my standard, but it might not be like my highest standard. So, so in that particular case, as long as they're responding positively to it, then I would keep on batching for the sake of just getting content queued up, because like sometimes when content is queued up, you don't have to think about it that much, right? So it's just kind of like, okay, well, I've got some content in the queue, blah, blah, blah. But like when you don't have content in the queue, then it's like here, like, oh, I got to make sure I can make a video. Oh, it's Tuesday, I got to make sure I get a video done. Or it's Wednesday, I got to make sure I get a video done. And it becomes something that you're always carrying around with you. So batching can definitely help ease that frame of mind. Sebastian says, how much time and effort should I put into my avatar and channel art straight away, or wait for a community subscriber base to form? Do everything in advance. So one thing that it seems, just based on feedback that I get and stuff that I see, people saying online in a lot of the new YouTuber areas, like on Facebook and Reddit and stuff, is people seem to want to wait until they have a following to do certain things that they should do in order to have a following in the first place, right? So it's like, hey, I'll start making good content once people start responding to my videos. Well, you got to make good content in order to get people to respond to your videos, right? So in terms of your channel art and all that, I would just go ahead and do it. I would just go ahead and get everything together. And it's not necessarily the effort that you put into it, just get it done. So it's not like, hey, I have to, just spend like, a week working on this. You don't. Like, you can just hop on Fiverr and be like, hey, here's $5 to this designer on Fiverr. I want you to make me channel art. And then you have your channel art and you can upload it. Just make sure that you have something in your channel art about the value that the viewers are going to get from your content. Outside of that, you can make it as pretty or whatever as you like, but just make sure that the hard focus on your channel art is the value that people are going to get out of what it is that you're doing on your YouTube channel. It's a little advantage that you give yourself. So Kane the Turtle says, I have 2 questions. First is, how do we join the Illuminati? It's Nimminati for your group. And the second is, what are some books that you recommend for YouTube to help us improve? Okay, so I got the books covered just a few minutes ago. And in terms of the Nimminati, all you do is you just click on the membership button. So there's actually a link somewhere. I think it's in the description of this video right now. And then once you click on that link for the channel membership, then it takes you to a page. And on that page is where you can become a channel member. Let's see here as we keep on going. Chantel says, I would find the coffee channel. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so I'm going to hop back into the forum here for a few questions as well. And then we will go here. Hold on really quick. And I'm just going to do a quick thing here because I saw a message here. I just want to make sure that I got all these super chats taken care of as well. Putting a reminder, we did that one. Historical, did that. Did the boxing channel. Okay, so a couple super chats that kind of passed by while I was talking about other stuff. Let me address these really quick. It says, can a channel located in Africa get sponsorships from U.S. companies if 80 to 90% of the viewers are located in U.S. and Canada? Absolutely. So one thing, so I had the unique opportunity to go to Armenia and work with some content creators in Armenia. So during that time, one of the problems that they had is that the AdSense just isn't available. It's not an option. Like, you can't do YouTube monetization over there the traditional way that we in the West do it. So because of that, they were all discouraged because they're like, hey, we'd love to make money from this, but we don't know how. And we've tried to reach out to people locally to sponsor our videos and things like that. And, we didn't get any bites. And one of the things that I mentioned to them is I'm like, okay, well, stop going locally. So international companies are already familiar with how influencer marketing works and all that stuff. And a lot of them do it. So because of that, start reaching out to international companies. And then what ended up happening from that is they ended up having Coke and Pepsi compete to actually end up sponsoring their YouTube content and their Instagram content. So, because of that, the opportunities are there. You just have to actually go and find them. So if you are in a country that, that doesn't have AdSense enabled, then I would definitely make sure that your content's awesome. Make sure that you're getting, view counts to where those brands would want to work with you. And then once you hit that point, then start reaching out to international brands to see if you can start, creating those relationships in some way. Let's see here as we keep on going. Roger Wakefield in the house. What's up, my man? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Good morning. Nice to see you in here. Let's see here. Books in the dark, need light on them. Yeah, I've got a light over there, but I think I just turned it just a little bit the wrong way. I turned it just a little bit the wrong way there. That where I need to make it just a little bit brighter. Yeah, totally feel you on that one. Says, don't forget about two-step verification. Absolutely. That happened in November. So I'm sure anybody that didn't enable that's probably well aware right now that they didn't. So because of that, yeah, definitely just keep that in mind. So I had to renew my membership, got a new card. Welcome back. Welcome back. So let's see here. How to get better at talking in videos. This is good. This is a good question. We don't talk about this a lot. So how many people here first, for everybody hanging out in the chat right now, how many people here talk in your YouTube videos? Because I know some people, they'll do like animations or they'll have like AI talk, or some people do music, stuff like that. Who here actually talks in their videos? If you talk in your videos, just say me. But when it comes to getting used to talking or getting better at talking in your videos, the first thing to overcome is the uncomfortable side of just being in a room by yourself and talking to a object, which is your camera. So that's the first thing to overcome. Okay, so we got a lot. Okay, so most of the people in here, I'm guessing, are talking. So when it comes to you sitting there and communicating with your camera, it's completely different from communicating to somebody, to another person, because there's no feedback, right? It's just like you doing your thing at the camera in a room, talking out loud by yourself, right? Or walking down the street if you're vlogging, or depending on the type of content that you make, you're ultimately by yourself and you're talking about it. I got it. I see it in there, Vigard. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But basically Doug, I see it in there. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But basically, when it comes to talking to the camera, what I recommend is that when you're alone, like when you have time, like if let's say that you're at home alone, if you have people that live with you, your significant other or kids or, whatever it is, if you are alone or if you have alone time in your car or at your work or whatever it is, this is going to sound nuts, but trust me on this. Practice talking out loud to yourself in your video voice. And what I mean by your video voice is going to be your voice, but you're probably going to raise it up just a tad for the sake of just being, for making up for the amount of energy that the camera takes away. But the idea is to just get yourself comfortable and used to communicating out loud, because normally when we're out living our lives, we're caught up in our brains, right? Like we're living in this, this world inside of our heads. So, we have all of this dialogue going on internally. So as soon as we start going out, when we're by ourselves, as soon as we start talking out loud, then it's like, you have those thoughts of like, okay, I'm talking out loud, I must be a crazy person. But when you're doing it for the purpose of, getting better at just being comfortable speaking out loud to yourself and processing those thoughts verbally, when you start practicing that on a regular basis, when you're by yourself, it can really make a huge difference for how you're communicating on camera, because it's not something to where it's like, hey, today's video day. So since today's video day and it's time to make a video, I'm going to now go in and I'm going to turn on the camera and start making videos where I haven't, spoken out loud to myself for a week or a month, or depending on, how often you make content. So because of that, you want to just get into the habit of talking out loud to yourself so that you can just get used to it. So when you turn the camera on and all that, it's just kind of like a normal occurrence, right? So you don't feel weird about it. In addition to that, keep in mind that, and of course, I know that this is content dependent, but keep in mind that as long as your content type supports it, keep in mind that that you don't have to just make a video all in one take. Like you can record parts of the video. And that's what a lot of content creators do, self-included, to where, you know, I'll record, you know, like, hey, here's a clip of this, here's a clip of this, here's a clip of this, here's a clip of this. And then you basically just get through those parts. And when you're doing it, you're actually recording for the edit. And what I mean by that is when you're recording your content, you're thinking about, okay, when I'm putting this together, like this is how I'm ending this, you know, this thing that I'm saying. So that means that I need to start this next clip in this way based on, you know, how I ended this clip. So you start recording for the edit, and that allows you to also be able to isolate each thing that you're talking about down into like little pockets instead of trying to do like everything in one swing. So, you know, just some food for thought there in terms of getting better at talking in videos. Other things that can be helpful as well is just energy in general. So what I mean by that is if you find that when you're, you know, talking on camera that you're just kind of like, you know, hey guys, you know, welcome to another video. Hope that everybody's doing awesome today. Like, you know, move around, right? Move around, you know, it's kind of, if you need to jump up and down, take some deep breaths, right? Take some deep breaths in and out, you know, just kind of get your blood moving a little bit, get some oxygen in your brain, and, you know, just try to make yourself like comfortable, give yourself a little bit of energy as well. That can also really go a long way when you're talking in videos. And I don't mean that you have to be like over the top and obnoxious. I just mean that by doing those things, it just helps you get your own energy up so that when you are communicating to the camera, you're just more confident. You're more, I don't know if assertive is the right thing, but you're just more, you know, you're just more, you know, doing your thing to the camera instead of just like trying to do the thing. Right. So let's see here. So next up on our list here, and we'll hop back into the form here in a second, but let me scroll up and see if I can find this. Land Reese.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure when you get the chance that you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. It's going to redirect you. And make sure you fill out everything, all the information there on the way in, because that's how I verify that you're a member. I'll let you in as soon as the stream is done. Adoption with Nairi says, struggling to get those really take off videos like I did in the early days. The channel's still growing though. Should I consider pivoting to family life rather than just adoption? Thank you. So if you had the content that did well in the past, then that content has clues all over it in terms of, you know, how people responded to that content, where the views were coming from that content, to where you can try to replicate some of those results. But if you are doing the adoption, your entire brand is based around adoption, then in that particular case, I would definitely, you know, make sure that you're serving that adoption crowd. But you do have that option to move into, you know, family life if you want to. But in terms of experimentation, right? Like, hey, I'm going to experiment with some of this family life content and see how people respond to it. Because talking about family life opens you up in terms of, you know, a much broader audience than the adoption crowd. But as soon as you start doing that, then you're kind of stepping away from that adoption crowd that you've built, right? So so because of that, I would just spend a lot of time thinking about, okay, what direction do I want to take the channel in? Let's say like a year from now, you know, what do I want this channel to be? What I want it to be known as? What type of, you know, value am I going to be bringing at that time? You know, those types of things. But I would really start thinking through like the long term of what it is that you're doing with your channel before you commit to going into just general family life instead of adoption. But the first thing I would do though, is I would go into those past videos and I would really try to spend time unpacking why those performed better than some of the new content that you're putting out. Let's see here. Thesami 302 says, my brother-in-law and I are starting our own respective channels. What do you think is the most important thing to focus on when starting out and getting subscribers and views? The most important thing to focus on when you're first starting out is making content. And making content the best that you possibly can and being very intentional about everything it is that you're doing in your channel. Have fun, but be intentional about what it is that you're doing. So what I mean by that is when you are starting your YouTube channels, first thing that I want you to do is think about what it is that you want to get out of your YouTube channel for yourself. So think about that first and what you're going to, the reason that you're doing that. And I don't want you to think like, hey, I just want to get a bunch of subscribers. I want you to think about, okay, when I'm putting this content out here, one of the motivating factors for me is that I want to, grow a community, and, through growing that community of like-minded people, that's going to allow me to be able to have these conversations about the things that I enjoy with, all these other people, right? So there's that. There's also, the monetization side of things. If that's a goal, there is impact in others. So for example, when it comes to like goals and things like that for the channel, you can use like feedback as, one of the mechanisms to track your success as well. So like what I mean by that is like, let's say that you have a channel and the views that you're getting are not up to par with what you think that you should be getting, and you are starting to feel discouraged about that. Then if you are tracking things correctly based on the goals that you set before you start the channel or as you're starting the channel, then if you have those clear goals in place, then you start thinking about, okay, instead of only tracking these goals around views and subscribers, because that's just platform goals, what I'm actually trying to accomplish here, what can I use to track the success of me heading towards those things that I'm actually trying to accomplish? And that could be emails that people send to you like, hey, this helped me out a lot, thanks. That could be, a thing for a certain type of content. For another type of content, it could be, you get, one of the things that you would track is that, hey, as soon as, I have a sponsor that comes on board, then that means that, that I'm going to be able to go full time into this or start doing it more regularly or whatever the thing is. So therefore, that would be one of the things that I track. But the idea, when you're first getting started, know what it is that you want, know who it is that you are making content for. And the reason that one's important is because if you just upload content for everybody, then you're going to end up not reaching anybody. So you want to make sure that you're just being specific about who it is that you're trying to reach with your content. So that's going to help you better be able to serve that audience that you're trying to reach. So for example, like if you're making content about a specific subject matter, like let's say it's like cooking or, something like that, then in that particular case, every single time you come up with a video idea, you can just run it through a filter of, does this serve the audience that I'm trying to reach? Yes or no? If it's yes, then you can put it on your channel. If the answer is no, then it's not a great fit for your channel. So, the idea is if you know who it is that you're trying to reach with your content, then in that case, it helps you be able to make the decisions around your YouTube channel a lot more clearly and a lot easier, because then you can start saying, okay, is this helping me accomplish what I want to accomplish with the channel? Yes or no? Yes, I'm in. No, I'm not in. Does this help serve my audience that I'm trying to reach? Yes, I'm in with this content. I'm publishing it. No, then I'm not going to make this video. Right. So knowing those two things really, really helps. But in addition to knowing those things, focus on making the content and learning how to get people to click on the content through learning how to make thumbnails and titles that are compelling. That's on the click side, and then learn how to make content that people respond to in a positive way. Now, there's a lot of nuance. That's a very vague thing for me to say because there's tons of nuance into getting people to respond to your content in a positive way. But the idea is that you publish a video. When you publish that video, then YouTube is going to show those videos to people. And when they show those videos to people, your ability to get those people to click or not is going to be a factor on how many views that you're going to get and how those people respond to your content in terms of when they're watching the video. If they have a great experience with it, then YouTube's going to keep showing it to people. If they don't, then that means that they're not going to keep showing it to people. And that means that you just have to roll up your sleeves and get back to work. So keep those things in mind. But most importantly, focus on the content. But I want you to, when you're first getting started, make sure that you're managing the expectations about what it is that you are going to be doing on YouTube. So a lot of content creators, when they start, and this is kind of a rant that I take from time to time about this, just because it's the clearest way that I can explain it. When you're first starting a YouTube channel, keep in mind that you have been watching YouTube channels that have been suggested to you as a YouTube viewer. You've been watching YouTube channels that have been suggested to you over and over and over again. Their system has determined that those videos that you're seeing on your homepage, or that you're seeing in your home feed on your phone, or that you're seeing recommended next to other videos, that's YouTube systems determining that they think that based on the things that you watch, the things that you don't watch, the things that you like or don't like, it's figuring out, hey, Sesame likes this type of content. So we're going to show, all of these different types of things that Sesame seems to respond positively to. We're going to show that content to Sesame. And when they show that content to you, the content that you're seeing is content that they're either testing on you in terms of, it could be a brand new channel and they're just testing it. And if you click on it, then, that's a win. But a lot of that content, most of the content you're seeing is content that's proven to perform in some way or another. And that's why you're seeing it. So when you are publishing your first videos, if you don't get, 1,000 views on your first video, don't let it bother you. Just be like, okay, not a big deal. I just published this video, and that is my goal for this very first thing is I just need to publish a video. And then the next goal is I need to publish another video. And you just keep going through that process, but you don't do it blindly. You are intentional about it. Like I mentioned before, you make sure that as you're publishing the content, that any feedback that you're getting in the comment section, in your YouTube analytics, which is basically your statistics for your YouTube channel, that you go and you learn how to read your, at least your audience retention reports. If nothing else, you learn how to read your audience retention reports, and you learn how to read your click-through rate from your different traffic sources, and you learn how to read your impressions from the different traffic sources, and you learn how to read your average percentage viewed from the different traffic sources as well. But you learn how to read those things so that when you publish a piece of content and you have a piece of content that does well, that you can go into your analytics and you can figure out why that one did well so that you can try to replicate it. But if your content isn't doing well, then you can also use that same information to understand why your content isn't doing well in terms of how long people are watching your videos, where they're leaving your videos, your ability to get people to click on the end screen, stuff like that. So the last thing I'm going to say on this is from the outside, when you're watching content creators, YouTube looks easy, and it's not. So there's a lot of things that you have to learn. There's definitely a learning curve that comes along with it. So embrace that learning curve and don't stress yourself out and don't beat yourself up if the videos don't perform the way that you want right out of the gate. If they do, then that's fantastic. You're off to a great start. But if they don't, then don't beat yourself up over it. Just look at it as it's part of the process because it is. Just like if you were to start playing an instrument today, you're not gonna just pick up an instrument and start, shredding that instrument. You're gonna have to go through the process of learning how to play that instrument. YouTube is the same exact way. You're embarking on a new adventure here, and that new adventure has rules built into it. And you need to make sure that you understand those rules and that you're, learning from the feedback that you get in terms of your analytics and how people are responding with your content, through the comments and stuff like that. Also, under any circumstances, do not ever do sub for sub because it'll tank your channel. Never do like view for view stuff. Never try to do anything that is not above board because it'll end up ultimately tanking your channel. So make sure that you're not doing anything like that. And then I'll end this because I said this a minute ago too. I'm like, this is the last thing I'll say, and I kept going. But another thing as well is YouTube has a free resource that they made for YouTube content creators. It's called the YouTube Creator Academy. You and your brother-in-law both need to go through the YouTube Creator Academy, read everything that you can possibly read, do all of it, right? And that just by going through that, you're going to have a much better understanding of what YouTube wants from you as a content creator, what works on the platform, the best practices, things like that. So I think that I have a link to the Creator Academy in the description, but I'm not 100% sure if I still have it down there or not. But you can look, but if not, you can just go to Google and look for YouTube Creator Academy and it'll pop up. I think there's like a course around it too. If it's something you have to pay for, that's not the right place. So you want to look for the YouTube Creator Academy that's put together by YouTube. That's the free one. So hopefully that helped. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, but another thing too, Thesamy, is like everybody hanging out in this chat room right now, myself included, like we're all rooting for you. Like, like being a YouTube content creator is amazing. Like if you are one of the people that can get it to work out for you and that you can, wait a minute, is Viper in here? Viper, what's up, my man? Hope that you're doing fantastic. Nice to see you in here. Hope that you are rocking, my man. Hope that you're doing great. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I can't remember. Lost my train of thought. Viper's in here, so that just completely derailed me. I'm like, Viper, what's up, my man? But anyway, like that's what I was saying. We're all rooting for you. Like we've all been through this process that you're getting ready to go through, or we're all in that process, right? So we're all rooting for you here. So do your thing, and hopefully you will be one of those channels that ends up being successful on YouTube, because being a content creator, when you can do it successfully, it's incredible in terms of the lifestyle that it gives you, in terms of the connections that it gives you, in terms of the network, in terms of your friendships and stuff that it gives you, and the professional network as well. Content creators by default typically seem to be pretty awesome just as creative people. So just the community at scale is pretty incredible when it comes to YouTube. So I encourage you to just learn everything that you possibly can and make sure that you're applying the things that you learn to your YouTube channel, so that you can, so you can definitely be one of the, I'll say one of the people that win when it comes to YouTube. Okay, so now I have some more that I have to get through here. Okay, we got those. Brother-in-law, struggling to get those really takeoff videos like the early days, new card. Okay, so Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue says, if you had a crystal ball, what does YouTube look like in 10 years? Oh my, man, I don't even know. So like if I had a crystal ball, it'll be here in 10 years. In terms of what it would look like, definitely going to be more features, definitely going to be more subscription options for viewers to be able to pay for more stuff. YouTube just had, even though they had this huge surge of viewership during last year, this year they're still making like tons of money. So they're just going to keep doing that whole thing. So they'll keep putting out features out there that's going to help us make more money. And it's going to help, their business make more money as well because of that. But in terms of, the next 10 years on YouTube, it'll be here. And the reason that I believe that it'll be here is because when you look for anything on the internet, if you are on Reddit, people are sharing YouTube videos that link directly back into YouTube that start sessions on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, people are sharing YouTube videos that link directly back to YouTube. If you're on Twitter, people are sharing videos that are linking directly back to YouTube. If you search for something on Google, if there's a video result for it, it's linking back to YouTube. If you search for something on Yahoo, the video results will link back to YouTube. Bing, anything that shows video results, everything is linking back to YouTube. People are embedding YouTube videos onto their blogs, which then cause people to start sessions onto YouTube. So like the amount of input that's coming into YouTube or inbound traffic that's coming into YouTube, it's staggering. And because of that, I think it's going to be here for quite some time because they position themselves in a way that makes it pretty much impossible not to be on YouTube, at least from time to time, as somebody that lives on planet Earth. So Mike Phillips, what's up, man? Hope you're doing great. Says my Saturday Nick Nimmin tithe. Where the M&Ms at? Yeah, they are definitely not here. Even though I might as well bring them back. I put on some calories here over the last year. Just being inside a lot. So yeah, I might as well throw some M&Ms on top of that pile. Oh man. Okay, so as we keep on going down this list here, so let me hop back into this form here really quick because I got those taken care of, and make sure that we can get into this form here. I'm going to refresh this to make sure I didn't miss any chats there. Okay, so next up we got Hot Wheel Boys. Hot Wheel Boys says that they do a toy racing channel. The goal of the channel is to get monetized and be the best at making racing videos. High five and fist bump. Want to be the best at making racing videos. Love that. I absolutely love it. Keep that. Yeah. I hope that statement is a reflection of how determined you are. If so, you're going to do awesome. The question, you need to make specific thumbnails for YouTube Shorts, even though YouTube selects one for the shelf. So your shorts can get views on the regular platform as well. So they can show up in like a mobile feed. They can show up on your channel page. They can show up, they can get recommended as well. So go ahead and make thumbnails for them. However, in the shorts shelf, people are just scrolling through, so they're not seeing them anyway there, but just go ahead and put them there so that on your channel page and other places on YouTube, you still are giving yourself that advantage of being able to, pull views in based on your thumbnail. Let's see here. So next up on our list here, we got that one taken care of. So next up, and this one's out of the form, then we're going to hop back into the chat right here in a second. And by the way, if you're just joining us, what we're talking about today is basically we're talking about YouTube, and we're talking about, getting views, getting subscribers, income. We're talking about some of the things we've talked about so far. If you're just joining us, we've talked about how to, be more comfortable on camera. We've talked about different monetization stuff. We've talked about the future of YouTube. We've talked about all kinds of stuff, but we're still going. So just as a heads up, if you do have a question, make sure you put a Q in front of that question so that I know it's for me. Right now, I'm pulling a few out of the form, and then we're going to jump back into the chat for those questions here in just a couple of minutes. So next up here, we've got, let's see here, Allen & Co. Allen & Co. says that they do animated movie, TV show trope parodies, and the goal of the channel is to gain a reputation for when I get into the film industry and to make people happy. Question. For my channel, I plan to upload 4 videos in a month, every other month on my channel. Since animation takes time and I want to be able to have months break to myself while posting the already made videos every week a month, then taking a month off to make more videos. My channel is only around 10 subscribers. If the people that are already subscribed enjoy my videos, can those 10 people that have different interests unrelated to animation still cause the video to reach a bigger group of people? Also, if the video has a small amount of views, but a great title, thumbnail, entertaining, first 10 to 30 seconds and keywords, could it still possibly do good? You don't want to think 10, like You don't want to think 10 to 30 seconds. You want to think, if my video is 2 minutes long, how many people can I get completing my video? That's what you want to think about. You don't want to think, like, of course, you want to think in small increments for like, okay, how are people responding this first 10 seconds? How can I fix it? How are people responding the first 30 seconds? How can I fix it? How are people responding the first minute? How can I fix it if they're not responding well? You do want to think of it from that. But the bigger picture is, if I'm making a 2-minute video, how can I get people to the end of that video? How can I keep making these better and better over time based on, what my audience retention reports say? How can I keep making the videos better and better over time so that I can get people to the end of my videos, so that I can get them to click on another video and watch more and more and more and more of my videos? If you can start doing that, then your videos will start doing awesome. In terms of those 10 subscribers that you have, when you publish your first video, those 10 subscribers might not even be notified that you published that video, based on how often they're interacting with your content. So just because somebody subscribes doesn't mean that they're going to get notified of every video that you upload. YouTube technically will say, they'll technically put out the notifications, but like, if somebody doesn't have the ability to get those notifications on their phone or their computer or whatever, then they're not going to get it. So because of that, those 10 people might not even see your video. But the idea is, when you publish your video, the people that YouTube does test it against, it might be some of those 10 people, but if they can click on it, they respond positively to it, then that's just, if it's 5 of those people or 3 of those people, that's 3 people that had a great experience with your video. And with those people, 3 people that had a great experience with your video, then it will, try to show your content to more people. And based on if those people click and enjoy the video or not, is going to determine if it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. So that's the idea with how that works. The Eternal Samurai. What's up, man? Nice seeing here. Says, hey, Nick, thanks for all your help. Just curious, I have a new style of thumbnails I want to use for a couple of videos. Will that affect my channel? It could. It could help or it could hurt. So basically, with because you say that you have a new style that you want to use for a couple of videos. So the first thing that I want to mention is, never commit to a style just because it's a style. You always want to lean on effectiveness more than a style. So like, for example, if you're like, hey, I'm trying this new thumbnail out, and you find that people respond much more highly to that thumbnail, then in that case, you might want to just keep using, that thumbnail on, all of the videos instead of, or that style on all the videos instead of just, the next couple of videos. Like, you want to always experiment with what it is that you're doing. Like, for example, in this live stream that you're watching right now, I was like, you know what? Let's do something a little bit different today. And the thumbnail that I made for this particular live stream, as you saw before you clicked into this, it's just like, zoomed out, zoomed out, or zoomed in, zoomed out, zoomed in a lot. Just 3 shots of my face. And I was like, hey, let's not put Nimmin live on here. Let's not put anything about YouTube on here. Let's just grab their attention and then have them look at the title. That's what I was going for with this thumbnail. And it's just an experiment to see what happens, right? So, just experiment with your thumbnail, see what people respond to best. And also make sure that when you are looking for what people respond to best, don't look at just the views that you're getting. Go to your traffic source reports in the advanced mode in your analytics for the videos, and go and look and see the click-through rate from the different traffic sources. So if you're trying to get on more home pages, then prioritize your browse features and the click-through rate that you're getting there. If you're trying to get more suggested traffic, prioritize that. If you're trying to get more search traffic, prioritize that. But the idea is to make sure that you know the click-through rate coming from the different traffic sources, so that you can make sure that with whatever experiments that you're running, that you are, making the right choices on the impact that the thumbnail's making based on where the views are coming from. That's the idea. So, but absolutely, it can affect your channel. Any thumbnail changes, any content changes, it can affect your channel in good ways or bad ways. But the idea with, with all this stuff is just to experiment, on a regular basis. And another part of it as well is, getting out of the comfort zone. Like, for example, the thumbnail that I uploaded today is ridiculous, and that's completely outside of my comfort zone. Like, that face, I'll use that face a lot, but in terms of like not being clear in the thumbnail, that like goes against everything in my being of not being clear in the thumbnail. But I was like, let's just do it anyway, right? Let's just get outside of the comfort zone and let's just do it. Let's, if it ends up tanking the stream and people just don't respond to that thumbnail, then, then I know that, but let's just do it anyway and just kind of see what happens, right? That's where experimentation comes in. So, so because of that, definitely make sure that you are experimenting. Okay. So if you have a question, now's the time to go ahead and drop it in the chat right now. Make sure you put a Q in front of your question so that I can make sure that I get you taken care of there. Hey, by the way, Richard Graham, I'm not sure if I welcomed you to the channel membership yet. So just as a heads up, Richard,
welcome to the Nimminati.
Just in case I didn't, make sure that when you get the chance that you go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, and I'll be adding you as soon as this stream is complete today. Let's see here. Starred by Doug. So let's see what we got here. Start things being a little laggy. Okay, so we did that. Okay, did that one. Okay, Simply Andrew Repairs. Thank you and your group for helping me hit 1,000 subs and 10,000 hours. Thought on editing on YouTube, cut a few things out. Watch time, we got that. Let's see here on the above super chat, Jashawn. Okay, so Jashawn, let me get this one taken care of really quick here on your super chat. It seems that I went past it. Okay, so
Super chat.
question is longer than the super chat allows. I'm going to drop it into chat. Thanks for the knowledge. Okay, so let me go back into Start here really quick and find it. Okay, I'm a video marketer into fitness. Hold on. I'm a vid marketer into fitness and had colon removed. First vid is interview with bodybuilding legend Phil Heath. VidIQ doesn't show interest in video marketing, fitness, IBD interviews, searchable niche tips. Not sure I understand your question. So basically what you're saying is that you are doing an interview with someone and you're trying to have it show up in search. That's what I'm getting. So if you are doing an interview with somebody and you're trying to have it show up in search around that person's name, then in that case, you would want to optimize everything around that search and that person's name, including, your thumbnail and all of that, so that you can give yourself the best chance of doing that. In terms of just getting views overall, then in that particular case, you want to make sure that you are optimizing around the topic. So of course, if that bodybuilding legend, Phil Heath, is like, extremely well known, then in that, known more than the topic that you're talking about, then in that particular case, then I would still leverage him in terms of the thumbnail and, framing the whole thing around him. But if the topic that you guys are talking about, like bodybuilding, is more known than he is, then I would frame, if you're trying to get more homepage and suggested traffic, then I would frame everything around the conversation that you had or the topic, the main topics that you talked about, which would be bodybuilding, instead of framing it around Phil. So if you are going for, more recommendations, then I would go more broad with bodybuilding. But if you are going for search, then in that case, optimizing around his name is definitely a thing to do. So hopefully that answered your question. Amy Johnson Crow.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure that next time you get the chance, you go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in, and then I will add you in there as soon as this stream is complete today. Okay, so let's see here. Upload daily when starting out or once a week, the best quality that I can make it. So basically what you want to do is you want to publish a piece of content. You want to have people view it so you can get some feedback on how people are responding to that content, and then publish your next video based on the things that you learn from that video. That's the approach that you want to take. It's not just about bulk uploading as much as you possibly can. It's about learning from what you upload and catering it. Of course, you want to be creative and you want to do your thing, but remember that you are making content for viewers on YouTube. So because of that, you want to make sure that you are, not modifying, that you're being mindful of how people are responding to the content that you're making, so that you can make changes if need be for things that are causing people to leave your videos, or if you notice specific things that cause people to stay in your videos.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. Woo. Okay. Next up, let's see here. What are some good tips for beginner gamers making content on YouTube? Remember that your competition is fierce, and because of that, you have to come to play. No pun intended, actually pun kind of intended. So when you are putting content out there, especially in something that has, as many people competing for attention like gaming, you have to come to play. That means that you can't just halfway do your content. That means that you can't be lazy about it, that you can't, shortcut anything. You have to be really intentional, and that you have to really put a lot into what it is that you're doing, in terms of making sure that you're creating an awesome experience for the people that are going to be watching your content. And the reason for that is because there's so many gaming channels out there. For example, if you're making it looks like it might be Minecraft content based on your profile picture, maybe it's small, so I can't really tell. But if it is Minecraft, for example, there's tons of Minecraft creators. So you got to find a way to stand out from the other Minecraft creators, which you can do. You need to find out what content that you need to make in order to bring people into your, channel around Minecraft. Because just doing Let's Plays, for example, that can, you can definitely have people come in, but other things that you want to think about is when you're doing Let's Play content, then what you're doing there is you're leaning on people being excited about watching you play the game when you don't have an audience yet that would be excited about playing that game because they don't know who you are yet. However, when you are making a piece of content that helps people understand how to do something in Minecraft, or it helps people, navigate something within whatever game it is that you're playing, then that content is a great doorway that's value-based. It's a great doorway to where when people click on that video, it's based around them. Right. So it's not like, hey, just come and watch me play this game. It's, hey, I'm delivering this value to you that's going to help you with some aspect of the game. And that's what I'm using to actually bring you in to introduce you to me. And then once you're introduced to me and you start consuming my content, by the way, I do Let's Plays. So now that you are, serving this audience with the some, help content that is bringing some of those people into the channel, you're also doing your Let's Play content on a regular basis as well. And some of those people are going to end up flowing over into that Let's Play content. And then some of the Let's Play people that just end up, happening in the stream, they'll enjoy it too. But the idea is to just make sure that as part of your content strategy that you're thinking from the perspective of, like, everybody's doing Let's Plays. So because of that, I need to also think about other things that I can incorporate that's going to help me bring more people into the channel based on the value that they're going to get. Now, watching you play the game, there is value attached to that too, and that value is entertainment. However, when you are helping people solve problems around the game, the value that they're getting out of that is elevated. So, you're helping people solve problems in that situation, which then, will garner a subscribe much easier in that particular situation. So you want to make sure that you're just thinking of like, okay, how am I getting people in based on the specific things that I'm talking about? Because, just going off of Let's Plays, you can absolutely do it, but it's just a harder thing to do because, you have to really come in swinging in terms of, the level that you're operating at with your content. You have to really come in swinging in order to make sure that you are competitive for the space. So another thing that I recommend that you do as well as a beginner, all of the gaming channels that you admire, all the ones that you watch on a regular basis, big and small, go in and analyze everything it is that they're doing. Like literally go in and watch their videos and take notes on their videos. So be like, okay, here they usually at the first 10 seconds of their video, this is what they do on this channel. And then, the next 10 seconds, this is what they do. The next 10 seconds, this is what they do. This is how many times they're cutting. This is how many times they're, throwing in pattern interrupts. This is how many times they're saying these specific things. Like, pay really close attention to everything it is that they're doing with the content. Pay attention to the quality, pay attention to the pacing, and take notes on all the channels that you admire. And one of the things that you're probably going to notice is that all the ones that are doing the, that are putting out content at a very high level in terms of the response they're getting, there's probably a lot of similarities between how they're doing things, and same exact things with all the different channels that are on the rise that are coming up that are doing well. They're probably also doing a lot of the similar things. And if you start studying those channels and taking notes on them, and this is something you should do anyway, regardless of the type of content that you make for everybody hanging out here. If you're doing gaming content, if you're doing cooking content, if you are making content about, cameras, all that stuff, like me, I watch the TubeBuddy channel. I watch the vidIQ channel. I watch what Nico puts out for his Morning Fame content. I watch Think Media. I watch Film Booth. I watch Channel Makers. I watch Daryl Eves. I watch Tim Schmoyer. I watch video influencers because Benji has tons of value over there. I watch Roberto Blake. I watch Brian G. Johnson. I watch Daniel Batal. I don't watch all of their videos all of the time, but what I do is I'll go and I'll say like, hey, that particular video is doing awesome on their channel. I wonder why. And then I'll be like, okay, is it the topic based on what I know of my space? Is it the topic? Like, is it just a banger topic and people always respond to it? Is that the thing? Or is it, is it specific things that they're doing in the video? And the videos that perform well for the others in my space, I'll go and look at them and I'll do that same exact thing that I'm talking about. How did they start this video? What exactly did they say? How do I think that the viewer that, as they were hearing this information, what do I think the viewer might have been thinking about in terms of, how they were setting up what it was that they're going to be talking in the video? I'll check the pacing. I'll check the B-roll that they're using, how often they're cutting, the audio. Like, I'll listen to the audio in terms of like, do they have music playing? Do they not have music playing? Do they have shifts in their audio in terms of, like they have, their on camera audio that's coming from a different microphone than their voiceover, or is it all together? Little details like that. I'll look at all of it on, all the videos that perform well and all the people that are in my space. As long as they're, on their radar, then I'll watch their videos and I'll try to unpack, why I think they did well. And then I'll also try to learn. right? Because, part of what it is that we do, because this whole entire platform is constantly evolving. So because of that, like things are constantly, changing as it evolves. And because of that, we need to make sure that we're, just paying really close attention to the things that are doing well in our space, because the things that are doing well in our space is the direction that the space is moving. So like in your case, if you're a gamer making gaming content, the first thing that I would do is I would go to trends.google.com. Here, I'll actually show you. We'll do this right now. I'll actually show you live. So how many gamers do we have in here? Just so I can see, just so I can make sure that this is, if you're a gamer, just say me. And I know I've done that a couple times here in the stream, but I just want to make sure. But if you're a gamer, just say me, just because I want to see in terms of, how you guys are, how many of you, I should say, are in here. Okay, so we got a handful coming in. Brad's first one, like me. So let's see here. I'm going to change this to the US. Of course, you can look at this like worldwide too, if you want to. But here, give me 1 second. Window. We're going to Google Trends. Bam. We're going to add this to the stream. Let me move this over. So one of the things that you want to do if you are a gaming YouTuber, one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is you want to make sure. Let me spread this out so you guys can see it here. There we go. You want to make sure that like if you're doing like Call of Duty, then you want to go here and you want to say, okay, Call of Duty. Here, you're going to see like a web search that's going to show you the interest. Since you are, I would look at this and I would take that information as well. And you can do this for any content that you make, by the way. But basically look at the web search and then come down here and go down to YouTube search. And then when you see this, then you're going to see like a trend line of like what's going on in terms of the interest of Call of Duty. You also see like different, breakout videos down here as well, or breakout topics. Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies is breakout over the last 12 months. You can, of course, siphon this down into, the past hour if you want to. But I'm just showing you in terms of just the trend line and just kind of like what's happened or what's happening. But you would do that for Call of Duty. You can go into this comparison option up here where it says, where it says compare right over here. If you click into here, then let's say that you were going to do GTA 5. Then what you would do here is you would say, okay, GTA 5 and Call of Duty. So GTA 5 on YouTube, a lot more people are looking for GTA 5 than they are Call of Duty. So if I'm going to go into gaming content, then in that case, even though there's a big drop off here, in that particular case, then I'm going to, consider GTA as one of the things that I might make videos about. Let's say that it's Fortnite. Then in that case, we do Fortnite. Then we see here, it's also going down. So what you want to do is you want to just look here based around the games that you're playing and just say, okay, is this going up or down? If it's going down, then, maybe even though I love the game, then you can, still make content on it. But just, keep in mind that over time, right, that if the trend line is consistently down, that you might end up, starting to make videos about something that is going to relatively soon be something to where you'll come into a stream later and be like, hey, Nick, started my YouTube channel last year, and now the game that I'm making content about is pretty much over, and therefore I'm thinking of pivoting my channel. What do I do, right? So doing this type of thing will help you kind of get some of that stuff out of the way right out of the gate. Same exact thing like when you are making your content as a gamer. Like, let's say, for example, I need some help on this one, but like if I do, okay, so we'll do, let's see here, Call of Duty. Yep. We'll do Warzone here, and then we'll do, Call of Duty Vanguard. Okay. We'll do Ghosts. So if you're a Call of Duty player, then you can also use this information as well. And I'm just putting in some random stuff here. Is it Vanguard? Is that the, hold on. Warzone. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. But anyway, they let you do these comparisons, right? So you can see like, okay, this against this, which one for the future of my YouTube channel over the next, like, let's say the next 6 months, is this going up or down? And you just want to look into it that way so that you can see in terms of, like what you have the best chance at getting traction from. And you can do this. You can just sit here and do comparisons all day if you want until you're like, yeah, this is the one. It's going up. It seems like, there's a lot of, good stuff going on with this one. Detours with Jeff. What's up, man? Hope you're doing awesome. But the idea here is to just look at this and think to yourself, like, okay, is the thing that I'm going to be talking about going up or down? So for those of you who make food content, same exact thing. So you can do this for like food, like if you find, like, let's say, how to make a cake. Let's do this. How to make pumpkin pie. So here, right? So we can see, obviously, in November, we get a peek of how to make pumpkin pie, right? So if you're somebody that makes, and this is, this is where trends can really, come in handy. Yeah, we'll get the doodler out. Thanks, Little Crafty Nook. So like right here, you can see that this area right here around Thanksgiving, people obviously look for pumpkin pie. That's why I chose pumpkin pie, so I could illustrate this idea. But basically for the different food that you are looking into making, just look, go here and spend some time in Google Trends, and you can find little things like this. This is called a tentpole event. And the reason that it's called a tentpole is because every year, like clockwork, you'll see a spike like this around making pumpkin pie around Thanksgiving as people are pouring onto the internet trying to figure out how to make pumpkin pie. So the idea is that if you publish a video, right, like right here, a few days earlier, when you know this information and you can count on it like clockwork, every single year you can publish a video. If you have a food channel, you can publish a video about pumpkin pie around this time every single year and ride this trend out over that, few day period where there's a huge influx of people looking for that. Same exact thing goes for, anything based around anything, for the holidays. But the idea with that though, when it comes to, Google Trends, is that you just run those comparisons on things so that you can figure out, with the people that are, going to be watching your content, like what can you put out that positions you in the best possible way to be able to, possibly give yourself the best opportunity to be able to get the most views or just general interaction as possible. Patiently waiting for the chat. Got that one. Working. Good there. Okay, got that. Okay, so that's working too. Good. Okay. So let's see here. So as we keep on going through our list here, let's see here. Pumpkin pie. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, pumpkin pie. So here locally, they just released like when it comes to Starbucks, man, like the Christmas drinks. Oh man, they just I was driving by today actually, and I saw that they have the toffee nut latte available. That's like the Christmas drink for me. Absolutely love it. Let's see here. So as we keep on going, if you had a question, make sure you put a Q in front of it so that I can know that it's for me. And I'm just kind of skipping through down here. I'm jumping down to the bottom. Excuse me. I'm jumping down to the bottom of the chat so that I can just kind of pick them up down here. So if you have a question, just make sure you put a Q in front of it so I can pin it up here and I know it's for me. But let's see here. So really quick. Okay, so Jashawn Harris says, my knowledge doesn't seem searchable. Video marketing, having Crohn's disease, fitness interviews, tips to weaponize my knowledge for growth is what I meant. Okay, so here's the thing. If you're talking about video marketing, that's one channel. If you're talking about Crohn's disease, that's another channel. If you're talking about fitness interviews, that's another channel. You don't want to be combining all of those onto one YouTube channel. So, so the idea, basically he says, the question is, my knowledge doesn't seem searchable. Video marketing, having Crohn's disease and fitness interviews, tips to weaponize my knowledge for growth is what I meant. So in that situation, first thing you want to do is separate those into 3 channels or just focus the channel on one and really just deliver that content in an awesome way. So if you're doing video marketing, then focus your channel on video marketing. If you're doing the Crohn's disease content, focus on that. If you're doing the fitness interviews, then focus on that. And the reason this is important is because for me, I'll watch video marketing content, right? So if I go and I subscribe to your YouTube channel because you have video marketing content, I'm like, wow, Jashawn is awesome. I love Jashawn. I love watching his videos, love everything about Jashawn. So then I click on your channel name and I go to find more content. And then what I see on your homepage, at the very top of your homepage, the thing that I'm going to see first, because I'm on my phone, what I see at the very top of your homepage is stuff about like Crohn's disease and fitness. I'd be like, oh, okay, I guess he's not making that type of content anymore. I'm out of here. Thanks, Jashawn. Awesome video marketing video, but I'm out of here. I'm not subscribing because I don't care about this other stuff. And the same exact thing goes for the other topics as well. It works in reverse. So if somebody comes in for your fitness interviews, they don't care about video marketing. Only video marketers care about video marketing. So because of that, you're going to put yourself in a situation to where when somebody comes in and they watch one video on your channel, all of your videos are not going to be a good fit for that viewer, which means you're going to hurt your click-through rate, which means you're going to hurt just the general response that those videos are getting. And you're going to put yourself in a situation to where you're pretty much stuck in the mud. So because of that, I recommend that you just divide those up into 3 different channels, or you just pick one, the thing that you care about the most, and you focus on that. Matthew Jout says top 5 niche channels to start right now. So in terms of the channels to start right now, it's important to just think about the stuff that you're into. Like, of course, like when it comes to like cash cow channels and stuff like that, there's obvious things that you want to do there. But when it comes to like, hey, I'm trying to grow a brand on YouTube, like what you want to do is you want to think about, okay, what's something that I love talking about, that I can talk about for like, I could just go up on a stage right now and talk about it for the next hour, or I could go live and talk about it for the next hour. Like that's the type of stuff that you want to focus on. It's not just about, you're like, what are the top 5 niche channels to start now? Like there's no real context there. So like the win is to pick something that you are like, hey, this is something that I care about. This is something that I am cool if I get known for this. This is something that I don't mind talking about, or I love talking about on a regular basis. Because when you start a YouTube channel and that YouTube channel starts doing well, what ends up happening is you're going to be on podcasts, you're going to be doing collaborations, you're going to be, watching other videos about it, you're going to be consuming other content about it in terms of like blog posts and, reading reports and like all this other stuff. So based on, what it is that you're getting into, it's going to end up being something that you're, consuming a lot about. So you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're starting, that it's something that you care about enough that it's a win if you're passionate about it, but it's at least something that you got to care about enough that you are, that you'll be happy making content about that for an extended period of time into the future. Because, making 10 videos, anybody can make 10 videos on anything, but make, 500 videos or 1,000 videos, totally different game, right? So because of that, you want to pick something that you are cool to talk about for a very long period of time, and that you're cool to be known for, and to, and to kind of build your brand around. That's what you want to think about. Oh, let's see here. So, Nick, in progressing in your YouTube journey, what is the one thing that you wish you would have started sooner? So I'm the only help channel that I know of that doesn't have a course. So I was going to put out a course a long time ago, and it ended up just not working out. That was on, it was my fault because I, got everything together slowly, but it ended up kind of actually working out as a win for me because, me being the only person that doesn't have a course is kind of cool. Considering, what it is that I do here on the channel. Like I could easily have a course, and I could easily have a bunch of people on that course, and I will have a course. But that course, if I would have launched a course, let's say, because I've been on YouTube now for like 7 years. If I would have launched a course like 6 years ago, then, like the amount of value that I've been able to add through that course and the benefit to me that would have come from that course would have been pretty substantial by now. So because of that, the course is probably the thing that I would have started sooner. In terms of something that wouldn't be related to that, I started live streaming pretty early. Let's see here. Yeah, I guess just taking things seriously. Because when I first started my YouTube channel, just like, a lot of people, like I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't making like YouTube help content at the time. I was talking about other stuff. And when I first started the channel, I was just kind of like throwing stuff up and just kind of like seeing, like, hey, let's just see if this works out. And, I wasn't really taking it like seriously. Like I was committed to it, but I wasn't taking it like serious, right? I just didn't have the confidence yet. I think that's why. But taking it seriously sooner, I guess would be the second thing there. So it'd be, getting a course out sooner. And then of course, taking it seriously. Like when from day one would have been, definitely a better approach. Trading card guy. That's awesome. Yeah. Love hearing that. Thank you. I'm glad that you are enjoying the content, and it's awesome that it helped push you to start making content. Love that. How to find diamonds in Minecraft? No idea. Should people really consider the full-time jump when YouTube and Google can Thanos your monetization? So yes and no. So some people, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the stream too, some people are more are okay with taking risks than other people. And in a lot of cases, with risks, can also come a lot of reward as well. So without disclosing too much, everybody that I know that is a full-time YouTube content creator that is, actively trying to like monetize what it is that they're doing, and they're taking that side of their YouTube business seriously, the amount of money that everybody that I know that is a full-time YouTube content creator, the amount of money that they are making, and by full-time, I mean that like this is what they do. They've been doing it for a while. They are very mindful about, like, hey, these are the very specific things that I'm doing to monetize. It's not just ad revenue. And in some cases, ad revenue is a big part of it, but it's like, hey, these are, I'm doing a bunch of different things to monetize. They're making more money than a lot of people make as like full family households. And they're making like, that, like, okay, another way to say it is a lot of the people that I know around YouTube are making more in like a month or two or maybe 3 than like entire households make in terms of averages in the United States over the course of a year. So like one person making videos from their home reviewing tech, or, one person teaching people about fitness, or one person, helping people overcome alcohol addiction, YouTube help channels, the whole thing, like making more than entire families in terms of averages, across the US. I think the average is like 70,000 or something like that for like the average, whatever in the States. But, like people are making more than that in like a month or two on their YouTube channels. So if you look at, if you can get your channel into that place, then that risk that you put out, the gains that you can get over a very short amount of time can be worth it in terms of running that risk, right? So when it comes to, just throwing it all into the, like, hey, like, this is it, I'm just putting it all on YouTube. That is kind of an irresponsible approach in terms of, you should also be driving people into email lists. You should also be having people follow you on other social medias, things like that. So in the event that your YouTube channel does have something happen to it, that you have these other ways to let people know, hey, I'm over here now. Hey, I'm doing this now. I'm doing this thing now. But you have these other avenues that you can kind of get everything jump started again without having to build everything up from scratch. So, because of that, I personally think that in terms of, people considering the full-time jump, I personally think that, that it's worth I think it's worth the risk. But I don't think it's worth the risk for everyone. For me, definitely. For everyone, no. And the reason that I say that is because some people are just too busy. Some people, they have, a bunch of kids they got to take care of, or a kid they got to take care of, and that ends up taking up a lot of their time, or they have, all these other responsibilities, and they just don't have the time to actually do what they have to do in order to, really get things to work for them at a high level here on YouTube. And those people shouldn't, because, they just can't dedicate that time to it. Same exact thing goes with the motivation thing, because we talked about motivation earlier. If people don't have the motivation to do this and to be able to see it through for a long period of time, then in that particular case, it's like, like if you have to motivate yourself to even make a video, then in that case, you probably don't want to just go all in on being a full-time YouTube content creator. Like if you can't even be inspired enough to just make the videos, right? So, there's a lot of factors involved, but I think that, for people that are intentional about what they do, they're self-motivated, they're driven, they're goal-based, like they're trying to accomplish stuff, that kind of thing. For that person, they're willing to learn, they're willing to open up their minds to new ideas, all that good stuff. Then for those people, absolutely, totally worth it. And it's totally worth the risk, in my opinion. Of course, there are things that I believe that you should have in place. So like if you are somebody that is going to go through that process, first, watch Roberto Blake. I don't know if he's still in here or not, but watch Roberto Blake, because he's got tons of content on this whole idea. But the first thing that you want to make sure that you do, though, if you are somebody that is wanting to go full time, and you're like, hey, I'm going all in, like if you're that person, then I would make sure that you do have a like a nest egg of sorts that you do, have that you, not, your actual nest egg, but your like a certain percentage of your current income that you put aside to save for like 6 months or a year, so that as you're working on your channel and you're going all in, you're doing everything that it takes to make it happen, so that you do have that money that you've put aside, so that you can, kind of give yourself that that peace of mind that, that, hey, like it's fine. Like I've saved this money so that I can take this risk, right? That's the idea. So hopefully that helped. But it's definitely a risky thing, if you can make it work, like it can be pretty incredible. If you can't, then in that case, then it can be a letdown. But the thing is like, you never know until you actually give it a shot. But, like I said before, though, like it's definitely not for everybody, because it is hard to do. And there's a lot of, things that you got to learn, a lot of skills and all that good stuff that you have to acquire. But, for the people that, have those skills already, or they can learn quickly or whatever, like YouTube can, it can be pretty life-changing. So let's see here. Ian, real great Austin real estate says, appreciate you. My channel is growing better as I pay closer attention to you. And of course, TubeBuddy is dope. Thank you for the feedback. Glad that your channel is doing well. And thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Jashawn Harris says, thanks so much for the insight. I'm not a personal trainer, and no one searches for Crohn's disease. So I think video marketing is the move for monetary gain. Yeah. So like in that particular case, like fitness, people do great in fitness. Like on the personal trainer side, oh, you say you're not a personal trainer. Sorry, I misread that. So yeah. So in that case, yeah, then the video marketing might be the thing. But I was going to say, if you are a fitness person, like you can do great from fitness on YouTube. There's a lot of ways to monetize fitness on YouTube. Let's see here. Anything else to get traffic from TikTok other than link on the banner? Tell people in your videos that you also have a YouTube channel. If you can drive people to a link in bio, which you said other than a link or a banner, or a link on banner. So basically driving people to your link in bio is definitely something you want to do, but also just spreading awareness in your, in your videos to let people know that you also have a YouTube channel. Does direct traffic mess up how YouTube suggests videos? No. So basically, when it comes to YouTube suggesting videos, what they're looking at is what's happening like on the platform. So like when people come onto the platform, like how they're interacting with your content once they're there, that's fine. But they are being mindful of, or not mindful, but their system is tracking where people are coming from. So like if somebody is clicking on your video from a homepage, the importance of that is going to be substantially higher, and that response is going to be substantially higher than like something that's coming in from like Twitter, for example. So so because of that, like I wouldn't worry about too much about, that the external traffic. I would just worry, the most about, okay, how are my videos performing in search? How are my videos performing in browse? And how are my videos performing in suggested? Those are the most important things to keep an eye on. Depending on your content type, you may target one over the other in terms of the recommendations versus search. But, you just want to make sure that if you are targeting search, that you're looking in your traffic sources reports to make sure that you're paying attention to how people are responding directly from search. If you're targeting recommendation features, then of course you want to look in your traffic sources and see how people are responding, coming from the recommendation features, which is browse and suggested. So that's the approach that you want to take there. Let's see here. So as we keep on going here, AB Cami M, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Should someone else edit my videos, or do I and take way shorter? Your call. Totally your call. So I love editing. Absolutely love editing. So so most of my videos get edited by Vigard. However, I do edit, some of my videos as well, just because, either one, it'll be like a late video to where I'll like be like, oh, I want to get this video out instead, and then I'll do that. Or it will be to where I'll just be like, hey, I just want to edit a video. So so then I'll edit it. So I love editing. So that kind of comes down to like a personal thing. So if you're like, hey, I just don't have the time, or I just don't want to do it, then of course, hand it off. You can use like vidcharge.com for that. But if you are, if you're like, hey, like I want to learn how to do this, and I think it's fun, then in that case, you'll probably want to edit your stuff. As we keep on going here, I'm looking for those cues to answer the questions here. And while I'm doing that, actually, I'm going to hop into the form here and get the next one here out of the form. So this one's from Sniffing Lime-O Modern Warfare 2. Says they have a gaming channel. The goal of the channel is to entertain people and spread awareness that a 12-year-old game is still popular online. And the question, is it beneficial or detrimental to upload multiple videos per day? No. So in terms of it being beneficial, if your content is high response, then yeah, I mean, you can upload more than once in a day if you would like. But in terms of doing that, just keep in mind that you are, you could be cutting into your own recommendations there, and YouTube limits your recommendations to 3 videos per 24-hour period. But let's say regular upload in a short. Oh, regular upload in a short. Yeah, you're fine there too. As long as the content is engaging, sustainable, and interesting for the audience. Yeah. So like if you're like, hey, I'm uploading a video, I'm uploading a short. So you can definitely let content breathe, which means that publish a video, see how that video does, and then publish a video like the next day or maybe, 2 days later. But if you're like, hey, I have the bandwidth to make great content and get that content out there like every single day. Like I wake up, come in, make videos, get them out. And it's like how I start my day. And then I go on and do my day. Like if you're, if you have the efficiency work down to where you can do that, then experimenting with, uploading a lot is definitely something to do. But just keep in mind that as you're doing that, eventually you're going to need to take a break. So just be prepared for that break too. So let's see here. As we keep on going, let's see here. MZG ASMR says, I've been getting sponsorship offers via email, but the links they send me to open the materials won't ever open on my computer. This is the second time. Okay, so be really careful. This is a heads up. Hacking is a huge thing on YouTube. So be really careful about opening things from your emails. So if somebody sends you something, like if a company sends you an email and they say that they want to work with you in some way, first check the email headers to make sure that they're coming from the actual companies that they're saying that they're coming from. Because a lot of times people will like redirect them, or they'll use like a Google account for it. And they will, basically like, it'll be like a Gmail account. So let's say, for example, if it was, we'll just call the company Bellmaker. So if the company was like Bellmaker, then it would be like, bellmakerco@gmail.com. And they'll reach out through that. But a real company that wants to do a real sponsorship with you, they're not going to reach out to you through Gmail. So, don't even like, I wouldn't even like worry about those. But in terms of opening things, be really careful about downloading zip files and opening them onto your computer, because that's how viruses are delivered. So just be really careful with that, and make sure that you are, that you trust the emails, that you're bringing in, that you're downloading anything from. And I also recommend that you do not click on anything directly out of your email either, and never connect your YouTube account directly out of an email either. So what you want to do is if somebody reaches out to you and they're like, hey, we want to work with you, blah, blah, hop on LinkedIn, look for them on LinkedIn, start the conversation there. Instead of clicking on a download link and downloading something to your computer, hop on LinkedIn, find them there and start the conversation there. Hop on Google and just go to, their website.com, hit them up in the contact form and just say, hey, one of your people, reached out to me about my YouTube channel. This is the email. This is the, the text of the email. So I just want to verify through you that this is legitimate, because there's a big hacking problem on YouTube right now. And, just be transparent with them about it. And then that way, you're making sure that you are interacting with, 1, legitimate people. 2, you're also making sure that you're not dealing with somebody trying to get access to your account. Let's see here. So let me, okay. So if a video that I made on a specific person is performing a lot better than other videos, but I don't want to overuse that topic, even though it's doing well, what do you recommend? Think of complementary and contrasting ideas. So if you have a video on like, how to make a cake, the next video that you might want to publish might be something about making icing, or making another type of cake, or, something like that, or how to make cupcakes, something along those lines. But the idea is to think, okay, the people that are enjoying this content right here, what's something else that I could make that those people that are coming into this and proving that they're interested in this topic because they're enjoying that video, what's something else that I could make that would serve that same exact viewer that isn't necessarily the same exact topic? Let's see here. Thank you. As we keep going, looking for those cues. Where are those cues at? Let me get some of those cues going in here. I'll jump back into the forum, I guess, but looking for those cues here, just in case anybody has any questions. Okay, here we go. Should I spin off some of my content to a separate channel? My channel is mostly automotive, and I've been toying with the idea of putting my dash cam content on a separate channel. Yeah, so if you are talking about cars, then in that case, putting, dash cam stuff on another channel definitely would be appropriate. That's what I would do anyway. Let's see here. So going through, looking for those cues. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like I'm not getting a lot of cues, so I'll just jump back into the forum then. That works out for me. So let's do that. Okay. So next here on the from the form then is we did sniffling there. So let me go here. We've got Chileb, I think is how you say this one. And the type of channel is that they want to have a gaming channel. So they're just getting started. And the goal of the channel is to entertain my community, make something from my free time. And the question, is it harder for YouTube channels to grow from 0 to 1,000 or 100,000 to 150,000 subscribers or more? Way easier to grow from 150 or 100 to 150 in most cases. So the reason for that is because at 100,000 subscribers, YouTube has tons of data on your channel in terms of who the right people are for your content and all of that. Plus you have a library of content behind you. So in most cases, so because of that, you have an entire archive of content that's bringing in viewers on a regular basis. And as that content library expands, then, you have more and more content that's bringing in more and more viewers. So then it kind of accelerates things and helps you, grow your subscriber base faster. Whereas when you start at 0, YouTube has no data on your channel yet. When you're putting out content, it has to test your content, figure out who the right people are for your content. And it has to go through this process of, figuring out who the right fit is for your content based on how people are responding to what it is that you're doing. So because of that, it's definitely more challenging to go from 0 to 1,000 than 100 to 100,000. I would even go as far as saying it's easier to go from 100,000 to 200,000 or 100,000 to 500,000 than it is to go from 0 to 100,000, because like by the time you get to 100,000, you've learned how to get people to click on what it is that you're doing. You've learned how to make thumbnails. You've learned how to make content that people respond to in a positive way. You've learned how to use YouTube. You've learned how to interact with your community. You've learned all the like shortcuts and all that stuff in terms of, making your content. So you're making it faster now, probably better. So like when you first start at 0, the content that you're publishing, it's, it might not be that great when you first start. And because of that, that can also take you, a little bit of time to learn how to make good content that people respond to where if you've reached 100,000 subscribers, you've already learned how to do that. So then all you're doing is just continuing the process. And it really comes down to strategy at that point more than it does, just putting out the video content. Oh, let's see here. So I'm just double checking for cues here. Okay, here we go. What are your thoughts about rebranding dormant channels? I have a client who wants to jump back on YouTube, but is unsure if she should start a new one. As long as the topic is the same, it's perfectly fine. So they'll still have to go through that process of like, hey, putting out, videos and trying to get the machine kind of kicked up again if everything's just kind of like not getting any traction. But if they start making content on the, same topic, then in that case, they should be able to just hop right back in and keep going. And recency is a thing in terms of, how recently people have interacted with your content. So if they do have views coming in, even though, the channel might not be growing tons, if they do have regular views coming in, then that still is some people that YouTube can test the content against. So as long as the content itself is similar in terms of topically or the audience that you're trying to reach with that content, as long as it's the same audience that you're trying to reach, then hopping back on that that other channel is perfectly fine. If that channel is like, if it has a following, then that's fine. But if it's a channel that they were just like experimenting with some stuff and it's like not, they didn't really do anything the right way and you're leading them into like, hey, this is how we're going to do it the right way, then in that case, you might want to start a new channel from there. But really though, if it's like, hey, the content's like, okay, and they're just wanting to, get started again, but still for the same audience, then in that case, I would just go back to the other channel. Let's see here. When it comes to YouTube ideas, I check out your content. That's cool. I do that too. Like when I'm sitting there and I'm going through my home feed, like I'm sitting there having coffee and I'm looking through YouTube on my phone. Like if I see that somebody else in another niche made a video on something, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder if I can wrap that idea into, YouTube related stuff. So I do the same exact thing. So, Arian Shah says, if I put monetize option on my very old videos that has 1,000 plus views, do I get money automatically without anyone watching it now? No. So it counts like once you actually turn on your monetization, it starts from that point because that's when they start showing ads that you get a cut of. If you were in the partner program or that 0 to 1,000 part when you were uploading your videos, like you're not getting cut in on that. It's from when you turn on the option to get monetized on that video. That's where you start getting a cut. Let's see here. I'm concerned about the amateur look of my videos, especially in regards to the fonts and intro and outro. How can I step up my videography game? So if you're worried about the fonts in your intro and outro, you're worrying about the wrong thing. Your viewers don't care about that. Your viewers care about the content and the value that they're getting out of what it is that you're making. So if you're worried about the amateur look of your videos in terms of the fonts in your intro and outro, don't use them. Like, simply just make the video content, and instead of putting an outro, or instead of using an intro, just get into the content. Like, get your hook together and then just go right into the content. That's what I do on mine, right? So basically you have your hook saying this is what we're going to do in the video, or whatever it is that you build into your hook, starting your story or whatever the thing is. And then when you get into the actual content, you just make that, quick transition into the actual content itself. When it comes to the outro, if you mean your end screen, then from that, all you have to do there is, just like I do in my videos, is just, move to the side and say, think about, they came in from this video, which means that they're interested in this topic, which means that what other content do I have on my channel that would be a good thing to send them to next? So then when your video ends, or it comes to the end, scoot to the side, tell them that next video, and tell them that it's right there on the screen, and to go ahead and click it. And then with that, you don't need any graphics, you don't need anything, and you're just giving them the raw content itself, edited in the way that you edit your content, and you just, shower them with value, so to speak, through the content. The people come in for the value that they're getting out of, or from what it is that you're doing, and they come for you. They come for those two things. They don't come to look at your graphics. They don't come to look at, your intro. They don't come to look at your in-screen graphics. They don't care. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. What people care about is, when I click on this video, am I going to enjoy this video? Am I going to learn something from this? Am I going to be entertained by this? Is this going to make me laugh? Am I going to get motivated from this? Am I going to make better financial decisions because of this? Am I going to, learn how to dress better because of this? Like, people are like, hey, what is it that I'm going to get out of this? When they're clicking on stuff. So just give them your best content, and don't worry about the graphics. And you'll be surprised, actually, when you do that. As long as you're focused on the viewer experience, then people will enjoy your content. Let's see here. When I'm experimenting thumbnails, how long should I give them to perform before I change? So what you want to do is, I'm not sure what type of view count you're getting. So like, if you are getting like 100 views on a video, then in that case, I would just see the feedback that you're getting on the video, see the amount of impressions that you're getting on that particular video. And from there, like, if it takes you, a day to get 100 views, then in that case, I would run your test on the thumbnail for a week, unless you establish a baseline on your channel, which basically means you start to figure out over time, okay, when I publish a video, within the first hour, typically the response is this, in terms of, my average click through based on the impressions that I get, my average watch time, all that. When it's the first 24 hours, typically it's this, and you start to get an idea of what normal looks like on your channel. And then what you start doing from there is, it's like, hey, if this isn't hitting normal or above, then in that case, I need to go in there and start, messing with it. If it's within the first hour, if it's within the first, day, whatever the thing is, if it's way low compared to what my normal is, then there's a problem. So since there's a problem, then I need to go in there and mess with it. All right. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out in the stream today. I hope everybody learned something from the live stream today. We are getting ready to go into chill mode, but before we do that, first, I want to just remind you that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy and StreamYard. You can check them out through the links in the description, as well as a bunch of other people that also help me make this content for you, like Camtasia, for example, Placeit, for example, Spreadshop, for example. Tuber Tools is mine that you see on the screen. Streamer Templates is my brother's. Best Creator Tools is a resource that I made for you, to where you can find, all types of tools and things like that for your YouTube channel. And Pad Planet is mine, even though I wouldn't get that now because I'm going to be putting out a newer version soon. But check out, any of those. But look, if you're a new content creator and this is your first time hanging out in one of these streams, and you're like, man, there's a lot of information shared here, and I don't really know where to start. This kind of put me in a weird spot because, there's a lot of stuff and I don't really know what to do. Instead of trying to do all the stuff, instead of trying to make everything like perfect and all that stuff, what I recommend that you do is just take like a thing or two things out of the live stream today. Write down anything else, any other ideas that you had, but take like a thing or two and focus really hard on, on developing or working on that thing or two. And then once you get that taken care of, then swing back in here whenever that time is and, and pick up something else and then, apply that so that you can, as you're, going through the process of learning it, you're not you're not suffering from overwhelm to where you can, be strategic and intentional about like, okay, this is the thing that I got from this stream. I'm going to work on it and apply it to what it is that I'm doing, right? That's the approach that you want to take. But again, thank you everybody for hanging out. I do want to let you know that today, our top chat leader today is Little Crafty Nook at 244 chats. So thank you for being our number one most engaged person today. Little Crafty Nook, I appreciate it. Albie-tastic is number 2. Uh-oh, I just clicked on the wrong thing there. Albie-tastic is number 2. Magic Flying Potato is number 3. Doug is number 4. Rock Climbing Grandma is number 5. Chantel is number 6. And then we keep on going down from there. So thank you everybody for your participation. Thank you for hanging out here. And I hope everybody has an awesome rest of your weekend. And now we are going to go into chill mode. Now, what chill mode is, if this is your first time, hanging out for chill mode, is basically I am going to, looks like I'm having some graphics problems over there. Basically, there it was. Basically, I'm going to be playing some music. And as I'm playing that music, I'm going to be letting people into like the Facebook group, things like that. I'm still keeping an eye on chat. So like if something, comes up, then, sometimes I'll hop into the chat for that conversation as well. But basically, I just kind of mute my mic, turn on some music and just kind of chill out and add people to the Facebook group and all of that. And, you're more than welcome to hang out if you want to just listen to some tunes. If not, that's totally cool as well. Thank you for hanging out, during the stream today. And I hope that you do have a fantastic rest of your week. And I'm just going to go ahead and go into chill mode right now. And I'm going to turn up the music. And everybody have a great weekend. Really quick. So Countess C Mathematics. So I have a device here called an ATEM Mini Pro. There it is. So this right here, it's the ATEM Mini Pro. And this has 4 inputs. So I can run 4 cameras into here. And then it works as like a webcam. I just plug it into my... I plug it into my camera and it just works as my computer and it just works as a webcam. You can find these on Amazon. I've got a link to my Amazon store down in the description below. It shows my monitor, shows my Rodecaster, my Stream Decks, my ATEM Minis, all that stuff. But there's a link to that in the description. But it's called the ATEM Mini Pro. The one I'm using is an ISO, but you can do the same exact thing with an ATEM Mini Pro. But it comes with software that allows you to basically set up macros, and then it auto switches through those macros, which is pretty cool. Thanks for hanging out, man. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, so basically, how that works. So for anybody that didn't get their question answered, I forgot to say that as we're in the stream. So basically, we just go through until the time. Like with all the questions that go in there, I would be on here because right now it's 11 p.m. where I am. So with all the questions that come through in the form, like I would be on here for the next, like 6 hours if I answered every single question in there. So basically, I prioritize the form, but then we kind of go back and forth between the forum and the chat to try to serve as many people as we possibly can. And the reason that I do that is because like a lot of times, like people will put questions in the forum and leave. So like when the stream first starts, then of course, a lot of those people are still here, but then I start going back and forth because, sometimes people do drop out and all of that. So, but just a heads up, if you did put your question in there, doesn't mean it's not going to show up somewhere else. I might end up making a video about it. It might end up in a podcast, something like that. It might be something that I make a video about in the future and put it up on my extras channel, something like that. So even though it didn't get answered here today, it might end up, popping up somewhere else. So just as a heads up on that too.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Video for bosses. Video for bosses. Welcome to the Nimminati. Make sure you go to nimminvip.com. If you can do that right now, I can get you in the Facebook group right now. Just fill out all the information on the way in, and I'll see it as soon as it pops up. So fill out all the information on the way in, and I'll be able to get you in there here in just a minute. Janine, I'm refreshing the page. I don't see you popping up over here yet. So just make sure that when you get the chance, you just go to nimminvip.com. Because I just don't see it popping up over here yet when I refresh the page. Ryan Shaw. This is Epidemic Sound. I think I've got a link to them down in the description below, but they have a lot of really awesome, awesome music. I think the link in the description, I think that gets you a free trial over there. I think you get like a month free.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Style setter, go to, if you're still in here, go to nimminvip.com. And that's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. So it's Nimmin, my last name, VIP.com. And that just redirects you to that Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in. And I can add you to that right now if you can go over and do that. All right. So now that everybody's gone, let's start looking at some YouTube channels. Who here wants me to look at their YouTube channel? To give some, just give a couple tips. I'm not going to do too many, maybe like one or two. But who here wants some feedback? Just some quick feedback on their YouTube channel. This is the fun stuff that we do. This is the fun stuff that we do in the after party. Every now and then we'll pull one of these. Okay, so let's see here. Mr. Camera Junkie. Okay, he was the first one to respond, so he is going to be he's going to be it. So let's see here. We might end up doing another one. I'm not sure. But first, we are going to get Mr. Camera Junkie. So give me 1 second here, man. Let me get your channel pulled up. Let's see here. Your Camera Junkie. So typically I would also watch videos, but I don't do that live on YouTube, just because, for obvious reasons, just because, I don't know where you're getting your music from, stuff like that. So the only thing that I can give you right here, and I'm working on getting this pulled up on the screen. Give me 1 second. But the only thing that I can give you here is like first impression stuff, anything, obvious that I can see from the outside. So we're going to start with that. And then we'll go from there. So, yeah, Rock Climbing Grandma's like, now that everybody's gone. Yeah, that's, now that everybody's gone and we're in chill mode, now we can, do something a little bit different, right? So, let's see here. Let me make sure I'm hitting the play button on this, so we can have some looking at channel vibes. Sinkable Cube 954. My day is fantastic. I hope that your day is also fantastic. Okay. So right out of the gate, photography basics, Sony A6100. How do you sharp focus, blurry background? Okay, so you're focusing on the 6100. Okay, that's cool. So right out of the gate, the first thing that I want to bring to your attention, and I know that this is probably content that might have done better in the past or something like that, but right out of the gate, man, if you look at what's going on here in this area, I want you to open your phone right now, if you can, and visit your YouTube channel on your phone. What you're going to see is that, this is going to be featured at the top, just like it is here, and that you have to scroll in order to get down to the content that is, your new content. So because of that, since you do talk about so many, different things here, and your entire channel isn't focused around the 6100, the first thing that I would do is I would move your new content up to the very top. And instead of new, I would just have like, most recent uploads, from Mr. Camera Junkie. Or something along those lines, and also make sure, and this is just the best practice thing. It's not something that's going to, like cause the channel to blow up or anything. But the other thing that you want to make sure that you're also doing is putting descriptions here in your playlist. You'll find that in your playlist settings. And the reason for that, here, I'll show you on my channel. If I pull it up on my phone here really quick, give me 1 second. But the reason that you want to do that is because on a mobile device, when people are scrolling through, let me go down to one of those playlists. So you can see here, if I go full screen for a second, oops, let me go click on here. There we go. So if I go full screen for a second and I go to here, if you look right here where it says YouTube training step-by-step guides, underneath that, I have like a little text blurb that I can use to give a potential viewer that would go into this playlist a little bit more information about what it is that they might get within that playlist. So the idea there is just to add those descriptions for that little bit of extra context for those mobile viewers, and just when people hit your channel page as well. But I would definitely do that. I would do that right out of the gate. But what you want to think about is you want to go and you want to look at like all your content that typically does the best, the stuff that's bringing in the most people. And then you want to organize your channel page based on the stuff that's bringing in the most viewers. Because ultimately what you want to happen is, and I'm just going to click on a random one here. But let's say that we click on this one. So let's say that I'm watching this video. I'm like, oh, this is great. Love this. And then I click here to go to your channel page. Congratulations on 1,000 subscribers, by the way, again. But basically when I click on this to come to your channel page, like let's say that I came in on, one of these other things that, that's bringing in the most people. What you want is for me, the subject matter that's bringing in the most people on your channel, You want that content to be the next thing underneath your most recent uploads. And the reason for that is so that one, that most recent upload, you're driving the people into the new content so that YouTube can get data on those people. But then you're also organizing your channel based around helping the people that are the most active on your channel find the content that's the most important to them, right? So that's the idea that you want to take with this. As we continue looking, I'm just going to hit your videos page really quick. Oh, another thing too. You get like 12 now, I think, options on here since they've added the shorts. But what you want to do is I wouldn't even put this short shelf on here. Like I would just take that off completely because, you know, your views for this are going to be coming from the short shelf. So I would just take this off of here completely. Also little things like this to where you don't have a playlist that you can fully flesh out. I would put only fully fleshed out playlists up here to where you have like, you know, an entire grid so that as people are going through, you know, they can see more content that they can possibly click into, because every space that's blank here, you're missing opportunities for people to possibly click into additional content, right? That's one video that could be in that playlist that could resonate with somebody on your channel page to get them to click into that. So because of that, I would definitely fill those out as well. You got some t-shirt links up here. That's cool. Hit your about me really quick. Okay, so another thing that I want to bring to your attention, and I'm going to go full screen here while I pull up this tool, and this is just a quick optimization thing. Again, this isn't something that's going to be like, oh, it's a game changer, but it's going to be something that, you know, if you're doing all of the things to create, you know, an advantage for yourself, this is, you know, some of those things that you're doing. So your About Me page, let me put that back up. So on your About Me page right here, right? So when somebody shares your content, if I'm like, you know, hey, everybody, you got to check out Mr. Camera Junkie. If I share this out on my Twitter feed right now, this is what people are going to see. Let's see what it looks like. Hi, my name is Lewis, aka Mr. Camera Junkie. I believe that for someone to become the best photographer they can be, the camera they, and then it blocks off there. So this is a minor detail, but I'm a huge fan of basically giving yourself as many opportunities as you possibly can to be able to pull people into your content. So what you want to do is you want to go in and readjust this. This is a minor detail. Again, this isn't something that's going to cause the channel to blow up. It's just one of those small things, but you want to give yourself this character limit. And this is a Twitter card validator, but you want to give yourself the opportunity to address people that are interested in camera equipment and camera technology so that you can pull them into what it is that you're doing. So start this off with Mr. Camera Junkie does XYZ, or Mr. Camera Junkie, you know, reviews this or helps you do this or whatever the thing is, whatever your value proposition is, just kind of try to work it into what it is that you're doing here. Same exact thing goes on Facebook. They have another thing as well. Let's do this. And the same exact thing applies here. So you have a smaller character limit here, but you can see here how there's no context because of the photo, because of, you know, what's going on here. There's no real context into what's going on. Okay. So just a little, you know, little tidbit there, just to make sure that you're doing there. But other things here, we're going to look for some other general best practice things. I would love to watch the videos too, but I just don't do that, you know, on my channel just for obvious reasons. That's why we do those in the Zoom calls on the member stuff. But okay. So next thing is fill out your description. So right here, I understand that you are, you know, trying to drive, you know, affiliate sales. And this might even be a sponsored video. I'm not sure, but I understand that you're trying to, you know, drive people, you know, off site, but keep in mind, man, like you're still trying to get momentum here. So since you're trying to get momentum here, I would prioritize getting like the description stuff up here and just trying to optimize everything around Ecamm and having that up here at the top, right? So here you have like, these are my go-tos when it comes to gear for my weekly live stream, camera, microphone, and more. If you have questions, comments, leave them below. Actually, yeah, this isn't even about the description. Like this isn't even a description. So if you're doing Ecamm Live 3.9, my live stream setup, the first thing you want to think of is, one, is this compelling, right? When it comes to your title, because if you're trying to optimize this entire thing around showing off your setup, then I would optimize the entire video around your setup and not Ecamm. If you're trying to, you know, bring attention to Ecamm, then I would optimize everything around Ecamm. But what you want to think about though, is you have, you know, Ecamm Live 3.9, my live stream setup. So right here, I'm going to guess that you're trying to tap into the audience that might be looking for information around the 3.9 update. That's just my guess. But your title, like there's nothing really compelling about this. So this is like, hey, this is my live stream setup, Ecamm Live, blah, blah, blah. So if an Ecamm user sees this, they might be interested in this. But one thing that you might want to think of is there something that I can add to this title that would be more compelling? And what I mean by that is like Ecamm Live 3.9, my live stream setup, just saying that is hard, right? Like it takes an effort just to say that because the 3.9 in there. So just think of it from just like a readability standpoint and just from a comprehension standpoint, but also just from compellingness. So there's nothing really compelling that would make me be like, oh, I got to click into this. Let me look at your thumbnail here just to make sure, because they do work together. So let me look at your thumbnail for this really quick. Okay, yeah, same thing here. So basically what you want to think of when you're writing titles is you want to think about, okay, people that are interested in live stream setups. How could I represent my setup in a way that would make people want to click on it? A great example of this one, a lot of people do when they do this, this type of thing where they're like, hey, this is my live stream setup. They'll show the setup. Right. So instead of showing like, here's a camera and a stream deck and a microphone, like here's just a bunch of stuff that may or may not grab your attention. It's an awesome photo of like their desk and their monitor and like, all of their stuff. Right. So then that way that grabs the attention for people that are into setups, because like, for an example, here, let me take this down really quick so that, give me 1 second. Let me go into my library here. Because, or I'll go to my history. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Because I was actually looking at one of these. So right here. So this is in my history. I was just looking at this today. So this guy, right? He did a video on his creative home office space tour. I watch videos like that, so YouTube showed me this. But when I saw this thumbnail, I was like, holy crap! Like what is going on here? I got to see this. Same exact thing is, I think it was Roberto Blake who just recently put out a photo on Facebook. I'm looking for another one of those examples here, but Roberto just put out one of these on Facebook as well. And in Roberto's setup, yeah, here's another one right here. So Big E, right? Building the dream M1 Max MacBook Pro 16 desk setup, why switch to Apple stacked monitor setup. So if you compare his title, even though this one is pretty wordy and it's pretty lengthy, he did get 12,000 views on it though. But if you look at what he does here is here he's showing the setup, even though this is about his MacBook Pro and it's about, the Apple and all that, like this right here is the thing that actually grabs the attention of people that are interested in setups, right? So thinking of it from that perspective, like, okay, people that are interested in setups, what imagery? Let me go hop on YouTube and look around and see what imagery people are using to grab the attention of people that are interested in setups, right? And, you want to take shots like this. In addition to that, if you look at his title, you can see here, building the dream M1 Max, Pro 16 setup. Way more compelling. And why switch to Apple, stacked monitor setup, all that stuff. Way more compelling than Ecamm Live 3.9, my stream setup, right? So if you were to take what he did and you apply it to what it is that you're doing, my dream Ecamm Live my dream Ecamm Live setup, or, with a cool image like that, or something like, let's see here if we kind of workshop this off the top of my head. Let's say that, let's see here, Ecamm Live, let's see here. I completely changed my setup because of, Ecamm Live, 3.9, or, something along those lines, right? To where it's just kind of something a little bit more like, it has a little bit more oomph behind it is what you're going for. But basically just trying to think, instead of just being like, hey, this is what it is, thinking this is what it is, but how can I make this as compelling as possible? But the imagery is also really important, for who it is that you're trying to connect with as well. So that's where, excuse me, if you're doing like, setups and things like that, that you really want to focus on like those types of things, to where you want to stop people in their tracks when it comes to your thumbnail. Let's see what else we got here. Conference streams, all of that. That's fine. Christmas room visit. Okay. So you're doing a lot of live stuff. Okay. New stream deck. Okay. So here's another one is when you are, if we go into this one right here, you know what, let me scoot this over. Okay, this one right here. Hold on, let me zoom this in just a little bit more so I can get this popping into another. There we go. Okay. So right here, when we're looking at it big, right? Your whole thing is trying to bring attention to the stream deck. Okay. From at a glance perspective, best grabs my attention, accessory grabs my attention, you grab my attention. When it comes to your thumbnail, the color in the background grabs my attention. But the thing that matters, right? The thing that would be most important to the viewer in this situation, which is the stream deck itself, that is like the smallest thing that you have in your thumbnail, right? So this is another situation here where you want to think to yourself like, okay, if I'm trying to reach people that are interested in the stream deck, and you are, because you're like new stream deck MK2 is the best accessory, right? So you're saying like, hey, this stream deck is the best accessory. You want to make sure that that stream deck is front and center. So the approach that you want to take with this is think of it like this, right? Like this is definitely a better approach, right? In terms of that, but even still, it's like you're focusing on the words instead of focusing on the thing, right? The thing the thing that's going to grab their attention. So like one thing to think about with this is somebody's interested in stream decks. Like, how can you make the stream deck, because that's the subject of your video, right? That's the focus. That's the star of your show, essentially, is that device, because that's what you're talking about. So how can you make that thing, which is the star of your stream or the star of your video, how can you make that front and center, and how can you make that grab the most attention, right? So that's what you want to focus on when it comes to your thumbnails. It's more about like, because I see that you have like this branded thing going on, which is cool, but you got to make sure that you're not leaning on branding at the expense of performance, right? So what you want to think of is, okay, first, let's throw the branding stuff out the window right now. And if we were to start working on this stuff from scratch, then start thinking of it from the perspective of, I'm not trying to focus on making sure that my thumbnails are branded. I'm trying to focus on making sure that I can grab the person's attention that I'm trying to reach with this. So in this particular case with this best accessory, you would want to focus everything on the stream deck. Now, keep in mind, if you're taking the approach to where you're like, okay, I'm not trying to reach people that are interested in the stream deck. I'm trying to get this stream deck in front of people that may not have ever seen it before or something like that, then in that case, the entire approach that you're taking can be different. And what I mean by that is here, you're starting to walk down that road where you have like best accessory, right? But if you're just trying to pull like homepage traffic and you're trying to be a little bit more broad and just trying to get in front of live streamers that would care about this, then in that particular case, then you would make the video something about like, this device made live streaming 1,000 times easier for me, or this device, made, live streaming, easier or better or more efficient, or, whatever the thing is. So then that way you're tapping into live streamers, not just people that are interested in the actual device itself. So it kind of broadens you out that way. But another thing as well is you are wrapping this thing around the Sony a6100 as well. And I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what you actually do in the video itself. But if you are, like if it's not necessary to limit it to the 6100, then I wouldn't. So if possible, based on like, again, I don't know what's actually inside of the video, because it doesn't say best accessory for the Sony a6100. But if the Sony a6100 isn't a crucial part of this video, I would remove that completely. Like I would remove this Sony a6100 completely, because what you're doing here, unless the entire video is about using this with the a6100, which it might be, but if it's not, what you're doing right here is you're making this video irrelevant to everyone. Irrelevant. You're making it not matter to everyone that does not have an a6100, right? So you're putting huge limits on the reach that you can have with this in terms of the people that'll click on it. So like, I would just keep that in mind. Like when you're working on your thumbnails, like this thing, and for everybody that's hanging out here still, like this part of your YouTube experience, right? How you're putting your thumbnails and titles together. This is, it's one of the most important things, if not the most important, because even if you make amazing content behind this, if you can't get people to respond to this part of it, then they're never going to see the awesome content that you're making behind of it, right? So because of that, you have to really make sure, for everybody that's watching this, you got to make sure that you're really thinking about, okay, the people that I'm trying to reach with this, how can I make that, how can I grab their attention by making the thing that they care about, front and center? That's the idea. So you're doing a lot of live streams here, which is fine. I'm just looking for video content though. Okay, full color control lights. Let me click into the actual title here for this one. Okay, so first off, let me take this back down to normal view. And where was that one? That one was, I think it started with like full color or something, didn't it? Stream Deck live. Here it is. Okay. So let's see here. Amazon RGB lights. Okay. So budget color lights. Okay. So here's another one, right? So same exact problem. So here you have, budget color lights. So you're depending on people like needing to read the text. To where with this type of content, you could speak volumes with you. I'm sure, you've heard the phrase that, a picture is worth 1,000 words or whatever. So, it's that idea to where, you could show just like this shot, right? Just an idea for you. So the same exact shot that you have here, right? With the purple with you in it, you could have that same exact screenshot, spend a little bit of time in Photoshop or in like an editing app, but basically have this same exact screenshot of you there with the colors in the background, but then have lines going down through here with like different colors going on in the background. So it clearly shows that it's different color. And then instead of putting all this text on here, you could just put a light bulb. And I think you have, like right here, you have another one with a light bulb. So here you could take one of those light bulbs and put it here so that people, can recognize that it has something to do with the lights. And then you're showing the different lights there. So you'd be able to illustrate that idea through the imagery itself instead of, trying to, like here, it's kind of like the same situation where you're leaning on the branding, right? You're leaning on that more than you are trying to make that connection with the person that you're trying to reach. Because here's the thing, right? Like when you can't make that connection with the person that you're trying to reach, then you're going to end up just dead in the water, like right out of the gate with the video because you can't get people to click. But if you can experiment with your thumbnails and you can do some of the stuff that I'm saying, and you focus more on that than you do on the branding that you're doing, then right out of the gate, your click-through rates are going to start improving. And then from there, the video content, you'll have to dig into your analytics for that. But, from the outside, like your packaging, in my opinion, and from my experience, you definitely need to work on how you're packaging this stuff up, and just think like, okay, like this is the process that you want to go through. So not just value over branding, it's clarity, right? It's clarity and effectiveness over branding. Like, performance is number one, because if you can't get people to click, then nothing else can happen if you can't get people to click on your videos. So performance is like, the number one thing. So even if you have to make all of your thumbnails completely different, totally fine, as long as people are clicking on them, right? And then, down the road, you can add little, like a small little style or element or something to help people recognize it's yours. But for now, I would be experimenting like crazy with your thumbnails, just so that you can practice what it is that I'm talking about in terms of being able to illustrate, through the imagery, who it is that you're trying to connect with. But the thing that you want to think about when you're putting your thumbnails together for everybody here is you don't want to just put it together and be like, okay, this is the thumbnail, I'm done. You want to put it together. And as you're putting it together, you want to think to yourself, okay, what is this video about? Who is it that would be interested in this particular video based on how I'm framing this, based on, what the video is about. And then based on, that person I'm trying to reach, what can I do with the title and what imagery can I use in the thumbnail in order to help that person that I'm trying to reach identify that this content is something that they care about at a glance. And the reason that this is so important is because of this. When somebody logs into YouTube on a computer or on their phone, YouTube is showing them a bunch of stuff. Like we've got Drew right over here, for example, because I've been watching his content. YouTube is showing a bunch of stuff that they think that I'm going to be interested in based on, other things that I watch on YouTube. So what you're doing is you're competing with all of this, right? So like when I load up a page, if I see your thumbnail, and I think it's here. Nope. I think it's here. Nope. When I load up that page, and it's not clear to me that your content is something that I care about, then I'm just going to glance right over it. Like my eyes are just going to flow right over it until I see something that I care about. Like right out of the gate, I just took a quick glance at this when I saw his here, because I recognized his style and what it was that he was doing. But right out of the gate, I saw this here with Rick, how he's dressed up as Rick. Right out of the gate, I watch Rick and Morty. So because of that, I made that instant connection there. It grabbed my attention right here with this particular one because I like Rick and Morty. So because of that was able to grab my attention through that. So, you know, because of that, same exact thing here. They're on, you know, like Japanese funk and soul on vinyl. So they're showing that vinyl, right? Like, you're like, hey, here's the thing. But what you want to do is you to improve your click-through rate is you just want to think about who it is that you're trying to reach with that particular video, and how can you make it as clear as possible from the outside that content is for them. And then you have to level it up by thinking, okay, how can I write a title that's compelling? Now, when it comes to writing that title that's compelling, a lot of times, you know, a lot of us, just because, you know, we're busy, you know, we're trying to get this stuff up. A lot of times we'll just write a title and it'll be like, okay, here, this is the title and done. Right. But what you want to do when you're working on trying to be compelling, because right now you're still trying to get that initial momentum. So what you want to think about, is you want to think about, okay, through the imagery, is it clear who it is I'm trying to reach, you know, and how can I do this in a way that, you know, would make them identify at a glance that it's for them. And then 2, if I need to write 10 different titles or 20 different titles or 25 different titles in order to think like which one of these is the best for that person that I'm trying to reach. So an exercise that you can do, and I've done this with people that I've worked with in the past, is at the very top, when you're thinking of your title, write down who it is, identify it, define everything, write down who it is that you're actually trying to reach with your content. And then as you're writing your titles, just keep referencing that. Would this resonate with that person? Would this resonate with that person? Would that person, you know, be interested in clicking on this, right? And if you can do that before you make your video, then that can make things even better, because then you're already putting that work in advance, so that when you make the video, your video can make sure that you're delivering on that promise that you're going from the outside. So hopefully that helped. I could keep going on this, but you know, just the packaging, like from the outside, like I would work on that right now. First and foremost, like I would work on, you know, how you're putting your thumbnails and stuff together. So hopefully that helped. So on that note, make sure, so your film booth was talking about creating viewer avatars like that. Yeah, that's part of even having a channel, right? Like, you know, you want to create, you know, like, okay, who is it that you're after? You know, you always hear me talking about, you know, audience, right? Making sure that you understand who it is that you're making content for, because once you know who it is that you're making content for, that makes it really easy to start to like uncover, like, okay, now that I know who I'm making content for, now I can scour the internet. I can look on Reddit and Facebook and YouTube comments and all this stuff and try to figure out how people are talking about what it is that I make content about, so that I can use some of that language inside of, you know, in my titles and in my videos and all of that. I can make videos about specific problems that people have. I can talk about things like, let's say, for example, if you're a gamer and, you know, you're in the communities around the games, and then you find out that, you know, the developer does something and the community doesn't like it. That's an opportunity for you to make a video and rant about that particular thing, because then you get a lot of people behind it that feel the same way. And then you start to create your, you know, audience out of that. But when you know who it is that you're making that content for, then you can start doing all of that research to really understand those people, so that you can really deliver on the content itself. And you can get those people just based on, you know, you understanding them. You can make topics that they care about more. You can be able to get them to click on what it is that you're doing more through the imagery, because you know who it is that you're making it for. And you can, you know, use and you can make your titles more compelling. I mean, you know, just by being able to, you know, speak that language of the audience. So hopefully that was helpful. And I'm going to head out of here. It's like almost midnight here locally. So everybody have an awesome rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for hanging out during the stream today. And I will see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And as a heads up, if you are, you know, one of the channel members that joined today, we ended up not doing our stream last week. So I'm doing 2 this coming week. So the first one is actually Monday. So make sure that you get in the group before Monday, so that you can participate in Monday's live stream. It'll probably be somewhere around like 9 a.m. Eastern time on Monday, because I know there's like a time change and all that getting ready to happen. But it'll be around 9 a.m. Eastern. So just make sure you get in the group before that if you are a member. And besides that, everybody have an awesome rest of your week. And I will see you next weekend. Take care.